Perry.
Did I?
He's probably talking to me.
No, I was talking to my pop.
Why, I have yet to hear him.
I was ready to look over in the corner and see Rod Serling standing there with a cigarette, Clark.
It would be a great episode, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I know you're good at stories, so I'm going to tell a story right now. And I think this would make a great Twilight. Old catalogs, okay? And he comes across an old Lafayette radio catalog from the 60s. So he's looking through it, and he's looking at all these old AM transmitters and receivers in the ham radio section of the catalog. And he sees a Johnson Ranger, Hammerlin HQ 180, and he's making a little list of his dream radios that he would like to have. If that you pull out, you could place an order, like they used to do years ago in the old catalog. So he figured, just for the hell of it, he filled it out, one Johnson Ranger, X amount of dollars, one Hammerlin HQ 180, X amount of dollars, calculated the shipping there and all. Right off the factory assembly line.
I love that story. I think you should actually develop it and put it up on QRZ.
Order blank from 60 years ago. I mail it, and here comes the stuff. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Bring the Q up a little bit on 80, but otherwise it's all up and running, and of course it's just a linear, and it's got a pair of BC610 plate transformers, but he could get it up to the legal limit, so that's not bad for 3,400, 3,300 volts. So anyway, over to you, Tim. WA1 HLR. This is WA1 GFZ, petting my kitty.
This WA1HLR. Yeah, I've got a little bit of a different way of determining the input.
Yeah. Well, try it. Well, stick it in there. Stick it in there. Do it right now, Do it right now,
Yeah, I'm actually still looking around for one. The Digitech looked nice. It's
the past day or two, but not today. Couldn't hear much today. Brazil and South American stuff started coming in the afternoon, which is weird.
To me, everything's fresh and new.
He has HADD.
I have manual ADD.
He has ham attention deficit disorder.
That's HAD.
You taking meds for that, are you?
Yeah, I should go get some meds. Some rum would be great.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
No, not a word.
Was that Perry?
Almost artificial.
I force every single belch. That's the way to do it. I haven't, Clark. I've never thought about that. That's really weird. Disturbed that you brought it up, actually. This is W2BTK in New Jersey on Montana Mountain.
Who bay booty strap? Kick lizard square. And all they were saying is, hey, I'll see you in a little bit. See you there.
Oh, people who don't want to type, they use the voice dictation?
No, they're typing along, and Well, yeah, that's another thing that'll get you in trouble. Or you type stuff and then you just kind of like hit space and the thing fills in the word that it thinks you want, and it ends up being like totally a convoluted message.
I spent a lot of time uploading silly words, or like, just using silly words until they became a part of my iPhone's vocabulary, because I know that like Apple looks at all that stuff, and if you use a word all the time, it gets like uploaded and analyzed, and they decide, it could show up on your phone someday, if you get enough people saying something. Same thing with Google searches. Like, you can totally manipulate those. Like, if you just search for something, like, I don't know, 5 to 7 million times, it'll come up as the first thing every time. So, type like N1BCG, does something like crazy, and you just search it 7 million times with robots. Every time someone types N1BCG, that'll come up, like, as the, did you mean to search for, I love stuff like that.
Are you trying to force your way into pop culture?
Never try to text a girl describing the weather as hot and pussy.
Whoa.
AB3.
Oh, we should all be on it. Can you imagine how more subtle this frequency would be?
Hey, can you get me some, man?
You mean more?
No, well, something different.
Yes, Gary, come to the rescue. And I don't expect him to key up. Someday, Gary, WA1EIG, is actually going to key up on this frequency and freak us out.
Someday.
Word.
Wait till I get
Word.
my 10,000 watt monkey now.
Word,
Come in.
software. Write letters and stuff, yo.
I think it's great that I'm getting out right now with like nothing. Maybe I should always run this way. I should have listened to Billy like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you mean...
Wait, what?
I said I should have listened to you and hopped on the 15 watt train a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Dude, if everybody did that, it would be awesome. But, everybody does what I'm doing right now. So, it really makes it hell for somebody who's trying to do what you're doing, which works great. I mean, dude, you're like 20 over here, but, nah. It's more about like, hey, look at my PP. You want to see it? That's like what it is. So I'm just gonna strap as hard as I can all the time and quick key and talk on top of people and do that stuff, because it's fun and everyone else does it. And I tried running 15 watts and it wasn't as much fun, so now I just come out and do this. W2BTK.
Wow, it's the Billy of the week.
BTK, you're off frequency, old man.
That's good. I'm off frequency and I have a hum. You left that out. It's all part of my plan.
Hey, I wouldn't have a hum today if it wasn't for the fact that Henry put the damn knobs on the front of the amplifier with Bristol spline screws, and I have to wait for the damn wrenches to show up.
Uh-oh. Anybody else no longer able to get to the WA1QIX web STR?
I was just on it like an hour ago.
Alright, it's coming up as server not found for me.
Oh no, denial of service attack.
That's it. I've access to too much.
It's not working. Yep, it ain't working.
Somebody's got all the sockets open.
Nah, you know what it is Steve finally had to yank the plug out because he's moving.
Yeah, I was listening to it all afternoon, and it's not working now.
Well, as Ted Kennedy would say, it's an end of an era.
Well, we'll be back, I guess, at some point, right?
Well, yeah.
So I had an interesting phone call this evening.
This sounds like a troll post. What was the phone call?
So I had the day off, and I'm sitting around the house barbecuing and drinking beer.
Hey,
and the
Ants,
phone
what's
rings.
up, man?
Bring,
Welcome to the
bring.
stream.
And I answer and say hello. And a woman answers and says, is this Mike Talkington? And I said, well, yes. Please stand by for a conference call with Governor Carney. And this is about 6 beers into the evening, and my response to her was, oh, shit.
Yeah, let her rip, man.
Let her rip, Tater Chip.
Unscheduled, unplanned, just, oh, crap.
Yeah, but Billy doesn't do that. He toots.
I fluff.
You fluff. You know what? You'd fit right in with the girls.
And it smells like roses when it's happening.
Oh no, that's if you have a colonoscopy, because they give you that Tide flavored stuff that cleans you out. So when you blow a big one out after the nitrogen comes out, people go, ah, did someone just do laundry?
Isn't that called a queef?
An awful lot like flowers.
No, queefs come if you have a lady parts, but I've got the external plumbing, and you can't. It doesn't work.
Oh yeah, it's tiny bubbles about that.
Mr. Hanky.
Heidi ho, boys and girls.
Yeah, and by the way, for all you toilet paper users, don't forget to mummify your hand each time. There's no better... Oh, here we go. The local... Somebody is playing
What?
This is toilet paper these days. When I was a kid...
When he was a kid, he was on a bidet.
When I was a kid, we went out to the outhouse with a Sears catalog.
These guys are... I'm telling you, someone needs to really take piano lessons. This is horrible.
What are you watching?
I'm not watching anything. This is someone who's got the stylus out, and they're touching each one of the keys. You know, you're supposed to be like playing an interesting tune, and instead you get this. It's like when you first get one more chorus. They're done. Thank goodness.
What is that, on 10 meters? What the hell is that?
That's a large call out is what that is.
A large farva? What are you talking about?
It's a fire alert tones that trigger pagers for different fire departments. And if it went on that long, that's a big call out.
No, apparently there's the announcement that you guys missed because I wasn't keyed up was there was a fire at the Dunkin' Donuts.
Where's important Rob?
He's criticizing me on text messaging.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't have the balls to do it here.
Oh no, it's much more fun to say whatever you want on text. What is this? Oh, all right. So there you go, Rob. And by the way, thank you for not being on because you decensed my receiver. What an AH thing to say.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, for not being on.
Is MMR in here tonight?
Yeah, he's running QRP power, so you probably don't hear him.
He's only 20 miles away. I should be able to hear him.
You should get him on 2 meters.
If his double balanced tuner is working 100% right, his feed line is balanced and antenna is balanced, you shouldn't hear him at all.
Can you hear me? Hello, radio?
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, I just looked you up on QRZ. When this quarantine's over, I had to ride up and take a look at your station. I just realized where you're at. You're literally 20 minutes away from me.
Oh yeah, you guys should do a visit.
Yeah, I'm not far from there.
Yeah, bring beer.
Yeah, when the quarantine, when we're all not gonna die if we leave the house. Well, that was nice. Somebody stepping on me.
Yeah, I throw killer barbecues over here, and I've got quad RE20s that I set up on the deck while I'm barbecuing. We can have a hamboree on the air, AB3AL. Once I get rid of the damn home.
I'm down for a hamboree with hamburgers.
Yeah, man, all this crap boils over. Come on down. You'll see the collection of crap that I have here. Come out.
I was on here and then I had to go, man. It's just, it came out of nowhere. And it beat me up pretty good, man. I was wiped out by this morning. I had it when I woke up at 5, got on here, and then I laid back down at probably 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and it was brutal. And I woke up at probably 11 or 12, and everything was almost back together, but I'm like extremely wiped out. I feel like I ran a marathon.
And it's got to be the coronavirus.
I know, man. Gotta blame it on the corona.
So why are you QRP tonight? Did your amp blow up?
No, I had a power surge a couple nights ago. Kind of when I was on like kind of when I was unkeying the radio, and I screwed something up in the Anon and the push to talk circuit and blew out an FET, and I'm waiting on the parts to get here.
10-4, yeah, I'm waiting on wrenches so I can fix
stuff on the computer now, and I wanted to put it back in line to see if anybody could hear me. So if I get too pissed weak and it gets crazier, I'll hop over on the other rig and have some more power.
Yeah, you're S9 here, but so is the noise, but you've got plenty of audio. AB3AL, Alpha Bravo 3, Analingus.
Oh yeah.
And 1 ALF.
Oh, there he is. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding.
There you go. You got that right. Jeez, Billy.
Let me get my popcorn. Hold
and
on.
It smells good. Is that from hanging around down in them truck stops smelling truck drivers again?
I'm sorry, Rob. What did you say about smelly truck drivers?
I don't know. You say you don't make any noise when you fart. You poof there, and it smells sweet there. Is that from hanging down there at the truck stops and smelling those truck drivers again?
No, I don't hang out at truck stops or drive trucks or associate myself in the trucker lifestyle in any way, shape, or form. A
while ago, you said you knew you would go down there and you could just smell them there. So I guess that must have been somebody else that was referring to that.
No, I actually have a recording of what you're talking about, and you're completely off base. I said that I would drive by the truck stop on the highway and I could smell them from there. Never went in there, but you also didn't answer my question at all. You completely ignored it. Have you been to truck stops a lot? Have you hung out at truck stops, Rob?
Yeah, I did, and I probably delivered your CB that you talked on.
So what did you learn from hanging out at truck stops? I've never hung out at truck stops. What did you learn?
To make sure my windows and doors were locked up when you drove by.
Oh, well, and what year was this?
That's right. You weren't even a gleam in two sets of eyes there. So anyway, and when you left, lower part of Fairfield County, Greenwich, Connecticut. And hello, Brian. Yeah, it's Brian. It's either a mixture of Kevlar and Nomex. Race car drivers wear.
Well, no, hold on. I'm pretty interested in this. You said that what you learned from hanging out at truck stops all the time was that you roll your windows up when I go by, but we just proved that I wasn't even around when you were doing that. So what did you learn from years of hanging out at truck stops?
$20 for a quickie,
I drove a truck for a living. Okay? Not hanging at them. I drove a truck for a living, and I delivered stuff that you talk on and everything that you'd use. And maybe I did at that time when you were around there, because I drove for many years. So anyway, but you had mentioned you know what truck drivers smell like, sniffing them as you're going past the highway there. So that's a question there.
No, I mentioned that it smelled a certain way when I would drive by. I don't know if it was coming from the truckers or from like, sleeper cell groups of homosexuals who would, pounce on these areas. It's still a mystery to this day. W2BTK. Yeah.
We even question it.
I'm streaming this right now. This is like top-notch entertainment.
It is.
I just was very interested in, what Rob has been in a truck and at lots of truck stops and stuff like that, and I was just seeing what I could learn from him. Maybe there was some knowledge that he gained from doing all that stuff.
Or people driving by truck stops sniffing. Doesn't make any noise. He poofs, and it smells sweet. That's questionable. I don't know. I worried about somebody like that.
Kind of sounds like, like.
Oh, that's a virgin.
I don't know. He said he poofs there. Now let me tell you.
Buddy, clean up your act. We got a miner on the air.
I did not hear
Like
Connor.
in the coal mines?
Where's Connor?
He's so piece weak you can't even hear him.
Connor! Go Connor!
I feel okay. My head still hurts a little bit, but I'm more just tired right now than anything.
What, did somebody drug you at the truck stop?
Yeah, no, I had a migraine last night and this morning. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, my mother suffered from it. He used to, have to keep the room dark. I had a friend that it was so bad he used to lay on the kitchen floor. It was cold there. That would take care of it. But I don't think you want to do that.
No, I was in like the fetal position all night. And
Never mind. TMI.
On my knees, like curled up in a ball. Because that was the only way I could. Then I stay still like that. It's like the only way. I don't know. It's like it takes my mind off the pain for long enough I could fall asleep. It's weird. It's like all I want to do is for the pain to go away. Just nothing helps it. Like, it's just brutal. Nothing does anything for it. You just gotta like lay perfectly still and go to sleep and hope the pain goes away.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yep, appreciate it. Hey, Billy, are you using OBS or Streamlabs OBS?
I just use straight up OBS, and I use an older version of OBS. It's like 23.2.1. I got rid of the newest version.
Wow, yeah, I'm on 25.0.4. I just installed the new version today.
I think I got the newest one now.
Because I just downloaded Streamlabs, which is like more, more for streaming, and I wanted to just try it, so that's the story on that.
Streamlabs OBS ran like a piece of
Do you have to pay for Streamlabs, or is that free?
No, it's free.
Yeah, I get done with the shack here. Maybe I'll put something online. Got a pile of SLR cameras that'll do USB webcam mode. I've got a 4K capture card here. Maybe I'll go online. Yeah, and I'll wear my FU face mask on the stream.
Yeah, see, I have a nice DSLR, and it won't act as a webcam, which I'm kind of upset about. But it's okay. I just make recordings with it on the other station. I upload in my YouTube channel, which is good enough. And I have this 4K action camera that I use as a webcam for now. So I do want to get another webcam, but I haven't. Every time I go to order a webcam, it's like $150. I'm right there to hit the order button. I'm like, nah, I don't need it.
I'm using two under $30 webcams to do mine.
Hey, where'd you get the webcam from? eBay?
One of them I bought at Virgin Records in Boston on the corner of Mass Ave and Newbury, back when there was a Virgin Records there. And the other one I ordered on eBay I got today, and it's very poor quality, but it was $15.
Yeah, I gotcha. I don't know. Yeah, this action cam I paid maybe $75 for it almost 2 years ago. And it's okay, but it sucks making actual videos with it, but for this purpose it's okay.
Yeah, I actually do conference room video conferencing camera systems for universities, city councils, and corporations, and I got all kinds of crap in stock on the shelf here I could fire up. 10 grand for a frickin' camera that is overkill, but it's, approved vendors for the state, so I've got them. Maybe I'll fire one of those up. Spares that I bought for them that they're not using.
You guys listening to us, man? This is W2BTK.
Good evening, KD2 AFV.
Toby, what's going on, man?
Not a whole heck of a lot, wishing it was Friday. Still ain't got that Rona, though, so that's good. Is that Perry out there running all PW?
Man, come on.
Come
I know, man, sorry. What's going on?
How much, man? Are you on the Anon or are you on the DX100?
Makes you feel better. No, I'm on my Anon.
Okay, I thought so. Did you get the PTT thing working on it then?
No, I'm running 30 watts.
30 whole watts. Well, I mean, in all honesty, it sounds good up here.
Yeah, thanks, man. Kind of got the audio cranked up a little bit. But it seems to be working alright, so that's the story on that. See, I gotta back the carrier down because I'm hitting it a little hard here. Alright, there we go. Bring my peaks up some. Hello. Alright, now I backed it down to 20 watts. I got a little more audio.
Not bad.
Giving me a 10 to a 15 over up here. Good stuff. Good stuff. I think I need to go get myself an adult beverage. This regular water isn't quite cutting it. I shall return.
Toby, my sounds are broken. I've got Horn and Cardi B here, and they work when I preview them on OBS, but they're not playing over the stream. It's really bothering me.
Well, we don't need to hear Cardi B.
The Cardi B sound is the best. That thing is so funny.
That's right.
Thinking about building up a solid state amplifier key, man.
Man, you just like blowing money, don't you? You're always like buying all this expensive stuff and have like millions of dollars worth of stuff just like sitting around your house, like $10,000 cameras. And you bought that. You bought like 2 flexes the other night. I mean, it must be nice to have your credit card.
No, I bought 1 flex. I bought a used 6500. Or no, 6600. But a lot of the crap that I got floating around is actually crap that is spare stock for clients.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. And like, what is going on here? I'm trying to find something in this damn program, and I cannot find it.
The only expenditure I really made was yesterday. I went to HRO and I bought a couple of SDR Play Duos, and through Cat Control I've got them linked with the SDR that I'm using, and once I get a few more antennas up, I'm going to have the whole transmit on one flex and receive on another with diversity.
Neighbor.
The Flex 1000 didn't have that. And, SDR plays are $200 a piece, so how about one for my office and one here for the shack to play with? Of course, the wife was pissed off. All the nurses at work were saying, "Hey, we got our stimulus check. Did you get yours?" And she asked me, "Why didn't we get ours?" And I said, "Well, we make too much. We didn't get we didn't get squat."
Perry.
Yo.
You using the blue, the green screen?
Yeah. I'll shut it off. Hold on. Hold on. Crap, where's my mouse? Can't find my mouse. There it is. Nope, wrong thing. See, now it's off. Now let's turn it back on. There. See, now it's off. And now it's back on.
No, it's still on unless there's that long of a delay. You're still on.
Oh, it's probably just a delay. I definitely shut it off.
Yeah, where did you get that one?
It's actually 2 blankets. I ordered blankets that color because the one on the next side of I never really going to spend this money on like a $50 freaking green screen. So I went on Amazon and found 2 like these little fuzzy blankets that are the same color, and they were like $5 a piece.
Yeah, send me the link there if you get a chance there. No, it looks nice. Yeah, I was looking at them. They have, which I want to do. I'm probably going to go with that one. The one I was looking at is like a projector screen that pulls down and pulls back up to the ceiling.
Yeah, no, that's too big for what I'm able to do. And this I can like fold them up and roll them up to the ceiling and walk under when I'm not using them. So this actually worked out really good. Yeah, I'll find them. I'll send you right. I might get more than $5. Maybe like $10 a piece or something. It's a whole lot cheaper than buying one of them green screen things.
Yeah, it's just the way my shack is set up there. My dog would probably want to pull it down and curl up with it. She takes all my blankets anyway there. So, well, it looks good there. So, we'll have to talk about the setup on what you're doing there. So, not looking good. It's very nice with your setup. And when you left.
Eerie. They're $7.97 a piece. Yep, I'm gonna send you a link now.
Yeah, send it through messaging.
Okay.
How else would he send it?
I was gonna send it over RIDI. I was gonna write out the URL over RIDI.
Oh, yeah, use the node Does anybody have a node? It's one of those like packet node thing. We should set one up for like the 3885 guys to never use.
Yeah, I have a node. He's sitting on my front porch. He's that little short guy there.
Sorry, Rob. I'm talking about ham radio.
Oh, I've got a gnome out in the front yard holding a little lantern that looks just like Obama.
I got it, Perry. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, he uses it all the time, Billy. Yeah, my dad can go clear over to my house, like a 50-mile range from his house, using his house as like a repeater. It's crazy.
That was like a packet node on the repeater that I used to live right next to. And in like the however many years I was a licensed ham and lived there, I never used it once.
I've got a node here. He stands out in the front yard holding a little lantern. I call him Obama.
Oh, never mind. I was going to forget it. I was going to say something, but now you made it worse than what I was going to say.
EB3AL.
Yeah, and when he left.
W2BTK.
Yo.
W3 MMR.
Word.
Weren't they better known as lawn jockeys? I think Frank Zappa made that reference in one of his songs.
Yeah, mine is holding a lantern. I named him Obama, and he's riding on a donkey that I named Biden.
Wow, I drifted that far, huh?
Yes.
A lot of...
Well, that's what I get for running a tube VFO.
All right, I'm back after a keg swap. I can't believe I kicked that thing so quickly.
That's because you're a beast.
No, you know what does it, Perry, is I end up give it away. Like I fill up a growler, and you know they're only 5-gallon Pepsi kegs, so you fill up like 3 or 4 growlers. That's like 1.5, 2 gallons of beer, and before you know it, all 5 are gone. KD2 AFB.
There's an expiration date on them. You don't want it to expire. You drink it.
Here. Well, we make corn mash here. You ain't got to seal that. You just put the lid on tight. Come in.
Is that like bangers and mash?
Nah. Bangers and mash. That's them wieners and no. We do corn mash here, son.
Bangers and mash is in Maine.
It's a meat lover's fantasy.
Yeah, we got plenty of lids.
Oh, you want lids? You're on the right frequency.
All right, grandchildren are here. See you later, and when you left.
No lids, kids, or queers. AV3AL.
Now it's just lid.
Wow, Rob's getting out just in time.
Yeah, lids or lid.
No lids, man. That's how I open carry in public. I walk around with a large coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, piping hot with no lid on it. Let's call it open carry. It keeps people away.
Miss, it'll like go through stuff.
Oh no, that's wimpy man open carry. I open carry a hot Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I bring that on the train with me. You can't bring that nonsense on public transportation with you, but I bring this on. I sit down, pull that lid off my hot Dunkin' Donuts large hazelnut, Put it next to me, and you think anyone's going to sit down next to me? Hell no. I've become a big fan of open carry.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee is like water.
Yeah, and Starbucks is like, blech.
Nah, it's all about that Folgers, Colombian, make it at home. The good stuff comes from Colombia, Clark, you know that.
Hey, you're talking to someone who loves Folgers so much. Brace yourself, Toby. I have a subscription. Smuckers, the Smuckers company, which owns Folgers, the product line, actually ships me coffee every 2 months.
Oh, now that's nice.
And by the way, if you do that, you get a huge discount. It's amazing, because I was trying to find it in the stores, and it wasn't working out. I finally wrote to Smuckers. I'm like, what the hell? Why is this so hard to find? And they're like, oh, you can go to online and set up a subscription. Really? And by the way, the price is like a third doing it that way than if I actually had to buy it in the store. So I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Direct from the manufacturer. Every 2 months I get fresh coffee.
He who controls the pumpkin spice controls the 30-year-old MILFs. AB3AL.
30-year-old MILFs? That doesn't make sense.
The pumpkin spice, that's on its way out. It's all about the maple flavor for all them, the Karens with the Karen haircut asking to speak to the manager. And speaking of Folgers, Clark, and getting things at a discount, have you ever tried the Kirkland brand Colombian Dark Roast? I will say it is a very, very close second to the Folgers stuff.
Dude!
I have, but now this is ironic. The best coffee, the best coffee I've ever had in my life is in Jamaica, Blue Mountain. Not the fake Blue Mountain, the real Blue Mountain coffee. That, to me, number one. Number two, and this is weird, it's made by the Superior Coffee Company. Sounds weird, doesn't it? I was in Las Vegas. Actually, I was in Las Vegas every year when I was working for the radio stations. We had to go to the NAB, National Association of Broadcasters Convention in April at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and we would have coffee in the mornings at the for pizza Riviera, a resort that's been now torn down, which is a shame. But in the restaurant at the Riviera, they served Superior Coffee. And my boss and I, who were both there for the convention, we had breakfast together and talk about the bar and the coffee at the Riviera. What are the chances? It was so good, we had to ask the waitress. We're like, what coffee is this? What brand is it? And she said Superior. It's like, well, duh, it is. No, what brand is it? And she said, that's it. It's Superior. And it turns out, after much asking, literally the manager of the restaurant, the Superior Coffee Company does not sell retail. They only do institutional. They only do to restaurants. That would be amazing, because it's very affordable, delicious, and you can't get it. Damn it! And one BCG.
Our place in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of coffee bean farms in Puerto Rico, and I got to be friends with one of the plantation owners, and farm roasted there on the farm. I mean, pressed the next day. That is about the best coffee I've ever had.
Clark, I think you better give Juan Valdez a call.
I went to one of the 35 times I was in Jamaica. I went on a tour of a coffee plantation, and I actually learned why Blue Mountain coffee is so expensive. So you have to have people actually pick the beans. Well, anyway, it was very interesting to learn this kind of stuff. But Juan Valdez, yes. Great coffee, but I'm completely sold on Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. Not the fake stuff, lots of imitations, the real deal. And one BCG.
Almost sounds like an opportunity, financial opportunity. If Superior Coffee, find out where it's grown and duplicate the formula, Well, anyway, I'm out of here. We're just up the band a little. I heard you guys down here occasionally, so just wanted to stop by, say hola, and gonna grab some chow. Have a good one. Say hi to Murphy for me, K1JJ.
Tom, thank God. Can you critique my reverb real quick? I'm just trying to get it somewhere that is just barely noticeable. It might be there. How do you think it sounds?
Well, I'd be glad to, Billy. Let me turn the SDR receiver. I got a mute button. I can't run two of them at the same time, so.
I haven't filtered it so it's just S&T sounds. It's everywhere. I think the low pass is set at 500 hertz. So anything above 500 is grabbing a little bit of reverb, and the highs maybe just slightly more, but it's a weird setting. How's it sound?
Sounds good to me, but I don't detect any reverb.
It's real low.
Come on, Billy, turn it up. Oh man, I had my SDR up on 85 still. I was still listening up there, so I missed it. Try it again there, Billy.
Alright, just for my own purposes, I had it at -13 on the last transmission, and this time it's at about -12, so that should be enough audio for you. So let me know if you can hear it, and how does it sound?
Okay, I think you're right at the threshold. I can just barely tell it's in there, so add a little more, and I'll see if I can get to that point where I say, nah, it's too much.
Alright, that's just a 1 dB increment. That's -11. Probably barely going to be noticeable, but I'm going to creep it up one more time. Okay, now that's -10 on that. So 2 dB louder in the mix with the reverb.
Yeah, I like that. It's, someone once told me, I said, if you can hear it, it's too loud, and I can just barely hear it. I got to listen hard. So it adds an ambiance, almost a subconscious sound. I like that.
Nice. All right, -10. So that's pretty good input. It's really hard to. You know what I'm trying to do, so it's very helpful talking to you about it, and I won't take.
Yeah, it's easy to get carried away. By the way, can you hear anything in here? I'm going to hello test. Let me just do a little. Where's my mix? Come on, baby. It's not working. Anyway, can you hear any sign of a reverb in here?
Nope. Oh yeah, that's why I keyed up and asked you, because I heard your reverb. It reminded me.
Okay, here's 6. Okay, now I've got 9. 9%. It was at 6. Test. Hello, test. Hello, test. Do you hear it in there now?
Yeah, now it's very there, but still subtle, but you can immediately tell there's something special, and oh yeah, reverb.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'll leave it. I'm going to leave it at 7 then. Maybe 1 dot where it was. Hey, TNXOM. We're on the FT1000D tonight, about 150 watts. Going to be building up a new 813 rig. I think a single modulated by a pair for the summertime. So I guess we all got projects. I'm going to grab some chow and take Yaz for a walk. But good to hear you guys on. And I couldn't hear anything up the band, by the way. You guys are very quiet as far as bandwidth. So we're all coexisting with our tails, just caressing each other once in a while.
Yeah, the guys on 85 aren't really bothering me too much. I'm listening wide.
Worldwide from the double wide. Came in.
Commode.
See that? What's old is new.
Yellow.
What you really need is about 500 milliseconds of delay at about 60% and a flanger. That would be worldwide right there.
And why does everybody reference Glenn Baxter, K1MAN, K-Man?
Didn't he drop dead?
Bastard.
Yeah. He was one of the many ham radio operators that received a notice of apparent liability from the FCC. And the next thing you know, he was a silent key. Think about that.
Oh, hey, check this out.
I did him.
I'm looking at the internet here, and since we're talking about like CB jargon and stuff, look at this post from 2003. It said, did the CB thing in 1976 at age 13, got bored and moved to novice in 79, been extra since 87. It is really amazing, the heated tempers and so forth. People need to lighten up, been there, done that. I love to tweak the anal retentive. I'll drag into exaggerated CB lingo just to annoy those who can't take a joke and are too serious. It's only radio, not a religion. Signed. Oh my God, this is the same guy that kicked me off his AM page for talking about CBs. Holy crap. This is so interesting. Wow, you should check out this post.
Nothing being harbored there, right?
That bastard.
Come here.
Good Lord.
Yeah, look at this. EHAM from 2003, September 17th, 2003. Wow.
The Black James Bond.
The thread is called Name Calling and CB Lingo on EHAM. Wow. Dude, this is hilarious. He says, I'll drag into exaggerated CB lingo just to annoy those who can't take a joke and are too serious. Wow. I love to tweak the anal retentive. Wow, dude, this is hilarious. This is the guy that kicked me off his page for talking about CBs. And by God, is it snowing here. W2BTK.
I think you two should get together and, compare notes.
I'm amazed at the double standard. That's very, very cool. It's gotta love the internet.
Shouldn't you be up on 3885 saying all that?
No, because I'm worldwide on the internet. See, I'm live streaming right now to the masses, and when I'm done, I'll upload it to YouTube.
Are you still sniffing your balls?
Continue.
Do their radio hobby on the internet, so I put it there where they can get at it. Woo, man!
And when they try and complain, you just say, hey, sniff my balls.
No, he's changing his Twitch name. It's going to be Snap My Bra.
I'm thinking Triode TV, man.
Or snap my jock.
Snap my junk.
I would just go with Antennas by iMac.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one.
Or how about the mighty LMAC net?
See, the problem, Toby, is whatever name I choose, that's what people on Twitch are going to call me. Like, they're not going to call me Billy. They're going to call me that name. So it has to be something that I don't mind being called by people, like, referring to me.
How about Twitch?
10,000/Twitch.
Go with the Bon Jovi theme, man. It's my life.
Oh, no, I got one. How about Nervous Twitch?
Or Angry Young Billy.
Yeah, but that's what we call you.
Or even better, I like tater tots /Switch.
Have you seen my baseball?
Frankie Beans. Want to play hot dog? If the governor of Delaware could hear me now.
Hey, speaking about the internet, I was just looking around, man. I didn't know Uncle Ed passed away like 2014. He was a good friend of mine back in the day.
Yo, it's snowing hard as hell here.
You've de-yellowified the ionosphere. Come on.
Oh, I gotta put the station back together. God, I miss all the sound effects.
Hell, I gotta lift the Henry 2K85 up, back up in the rack tomorrow. I put a 5-volt relay on the back of the VGA connector that they have in the Flex SDR, and yeah, well, it's all fine and dandy now. I just gotta put it all back together.
Yeah, I'm on a 2K Classic X now. I'm waiting on parts to get rid of this damn hum. In my barn shop / whatever, I've got a 4K Ultra and an 8K. I'm afraid of the 8K. The 4K I might bring back here.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. Well, I'm running the SDR, the Flex 6300 with the 2K85. This is one I'm going to run remote, like for my boat and for my car and stuff. And I've been shaking it out with the Maestro here, and I think I'm pretty good with it now. And then I got this kHz switch, the 221. I bought it from a guy in Bulgaria because they don't sell it here in the U.S. But it enables me to flip on the amp on 220, like remote, like with my iPhone. It's pretty cool, and it's gonna be like the cat's meow.
Are you running remote right now, or are you in front of the rig?
Sort of both. I'm running the Maestro right now. This is W2ENY. I'm running the Maestro right now, remote into the 6300, which is like 6 feet away from me, as well as the amp. But my goal was to
go into setup and go into the transmit tab. You've got the bandwidth set for 3K or 3200. Change it to 6. Your audio is pretty restrictive right now.
I'm saying run that by me again. I'll follow you.
Okay, so go into the setup for the Flex and go into the tab for transmit. You have the transmit bandwidth set for about 3K, which is for, perfect for sideband. Change it to 6. Your audio is very restrictive. It's you've got an upper and lower control. The lower is probably set for about 300 right now, and the upper is set for 3200. Zero out the lower and change the upper to about 6K.
All right, I'm on. I just wanted to transmit here. I get the EQ. I thought I was set a lot wider than that. I had 10K. I thought I selected earlier.
Well, it's either in a Flex setup, the transmit bandwidth, or the microphone you're using is very narrow filtered. But look around in the setup and then the transmit tab, and you'll see the transmit bandwidth. There's a lower cutoff and an upper cutoff, and you want to play with that. The upper, if you've got it set for 3 kilohertz, it's pretty constrictive.
All right. I get it. I'll figure it out. I've seen that before. Damn. All right, cool. I'll check it out. W2ENY.
Yeah, because I'm looking at you on the pan adapter right now, and it's you are pretty tight. Not that you're not copyable. You're definitely intelligible, but it's just
got that narrow, communications grade audio, but it's great for slot bucket. AB3 AL.
I don't think it sounds quite that bad.
No, it doesn't sound bad. It's copyable. It's just restricted. And for this group, you know, we're wide and worldwide. Cameo.
And you also could get it keyed on.
Come on down here where the water's fine.
I got it now. That's a lot better like that.
Your signal dropped down, but it sounded a little better, yeah.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, this thing was configured for default, and it's 200 on the low side, 8K on the high side. Yeah, spectral density-wise, the signal would drop down, but hopefully it sounds a little better.
Yeah, you got a lot weaker there, but the audio is definitely opened up a bit. EB3AL, because I probably should.
Yeah, like I was saying, the oh and shit.
I heard you there, Perry.
Really?
Here, that's whack.
I hear you fine.
Can you hear me, Billy?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, something else is going on.
All right.
Oh, I got.
Stand by, guys.
I should be running 1,200 watts here, and I'm running like 20. I don't get it. Anyway, I'll figure it out. I'll get back to y'all. W2BTK.
All right, yeah, he drifted off into nothing. Hey, just because I want to see it on Perry's pan adapter.
Here, check this out.
Hello to Tim, if that's Tim out there. I thought I heard Tim.
Yeah. Come on, breaker.
Perry, you strapped through that stuff. You still running 20 watts?
Yeah, I'm running 19 watts. I don't have an amplifier at the moment, so that's all I'm running.
I think Perry is just on his driver right now.
Come on back.
Well, I ain't on my driver.
That should be a little bit better. At least the amp. You know what? When I flip it up past 6K on...
I'm on the big box right now.
It kicks.
Who is that? 75.
Anyway.
Daryl.
Better. W2BTK.
Yes.
That's definitely... Dude, ENY, you're strapping here, too.
Come down to 73, Daryl.
I'm just surprised anybody's hearing this here quarter-watt walkie-talkie into a bent coat hanger. Key man.
Is that an Archer Space Patrol?
I think it might be Fisher-Price.
All right, here I go, Perry. Here I go.
Zachary.
That's it. I'm going off the air until I've got my special effects.
I can't even get into that right now.
Oh, come on. Everyone wants to hear the Toby's version of the lightning bolt story.
Oh man, the reverb is sounding sweet.
I'm gonna have to get a few more beers in me before I do that. That's well, yeah. KD2 AFE.
Wait a minute. How many lightning bolt stories can there be?
Trust me, Toby's got one too, Clark. It's Steamboat Willie.
I have a video somewhere on my YouTube page of fire coming out of an antenna.
Yeah, and it somehow involved hot dogs, didn't it?
I don't know about hot dogs, but it's got fire, and it's directional.
Hot dog residue.
You got to watch out for the residue. You got to make sure the shaft is clean.
You got, and you know what baffles me about that situation? You were hanging out with Dan, and and you still had a dirty shaft with that guy around.
Way too much information.
Is this where Tiny Bubbles comes in?
You know, Dan hangs out with Tiny Bubbles. I have a video, an old video of Dan talking about how, with the things he used to do down at the Danny's Big Rig and Buttfuck Resort, or whatever he used to call it.
Well, now.
And mind you, that was a G, not a CK.
Bug fuggers?
Fug. G. With a G.
That's what I said. Bug fuggers.
Okay. Hooray!
The things that we hear go down at the Vince Lombardi truck stop.
Ay, Dios mío, coño, carajo.
No, papi.
No, papi, no, Doro, papi, oh, yeah.
No. Oh, okay.
Ay, métemelo, papi, Doro.
I'm out of here. I'm going to be back later on. I got to go upstairs to open a bottle of wine. We got dinner on W2BTK, and you're not.
All right, man, we'll catch you later. I'm going to do that in a bit. I got some bottles of wine when I went out. Yes, I went out shopping yesterday. So I'm looking forward to the wine. It's been a week or two. I was on a big wine kick. W2BTK.
Yeah, nothing beats beer and moonshine.
Jello shots today. Jello with, I did a mix of cachaça, which is a single stage rum, and vodka. So I gotta see how that goes tonight. I'll post pictures later on. Come out.
Pictures are fine. Some of us require video, though.
And some of us don't want to see the video. Especially from the truck stop.
I'm not sure where you guys hang out on the internet. Is it like the 3873 page on Facebook or something? If somebody can shoot me where I should post these, hit me up. My call sign W2ENY@yahoo.com. Come out.
No. Just go to twitch.com/sniffmyballs and you'll see it.
Hey, I tried to do that the other night, and it wouldn't let me post anything on there. I can go on there, I can reply, I can do the text thing, but I couldn't do any kind of like pictures or pastes or anything.
Yeah, it's not going to let you do that right on the in the chat on stream, but what you can do is post a link to what you're looking at and be like, hey, like, check this out. I'll go to it in my browser and I'll pull it up in the window and we can all... That'd probably be a better place to, like, start a topic with pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're usually pretty anal retentive. I've been booted off there before, but anyway, so I'll hit you up on with a link on Twitch, and maybe I'll stick it on, like, I don't know, Dropbox or some crap, or my own website. Either way.
Yeah, you could do that. I'm also an administrator on a forum. It's actually a CB radio forum, but there's like no CBers on it. It's all just a bunch of AM hams and stuff who used to do CB but have like graduated. So that's called mauldroppers.com, MAULDROPPERS.com, and that is 100% free speech, man. You say something up there, it stays there. unless you post like, butthole porn or something, and then it still has a good chance of staying there, but in most cases we take it down because, but it's that site, malldroppers.com, 100% free speech. There's a lot of good technical discussions on there, believe it or not, and it's not censored. There's no agenda, there's no moderators, there's no advertisers. It's just free speech. Let's talk about the hobby, and I'd recommend going there too, but it doesn't have a lot of traffic these days.
Perry's got the big drill out now, Kim-Meow.
Pat, what are you using the fishing line for?
Yeah, that's right. So, molddroppers.com. That's cool. No form and decorum. I like that. All right. Anyway, you cool cats, I'll catch you on the flip side. W2AY, come out.
Perry's a Milwaukee man, Kim-Meow.
Nope, not a Milwaukee. I'm a Craftsman man now. I'm a Snap-on and Matco man.
I didn't have my other little fan on. This thing is crying.
It's butthurt.
It's 200 degrees.
Wow, that's warm.
That's a guess.
We had all our departments there go. Hold on.
It's actually 152.8.
Yeah, you got me now?
We got a slop bucket station in there. I'm gonna go drain the Lizard and get another beer. AB3AL. Going that way.
See you later. We'll catch you out here if you come back. I'm going to be out here for a little while. W2BTK.
Hey, Boom.
George, what's up?
What's in here? Okay, here we go. It's not good. And, I just turned on the rig. I have my monitor on. Reading in the back as well. Let me turn that off in a moment. I can hear you. I thought I wouldn't be heard without the amp. And
Yeah, George, I'm down here on 73. You're a little low. I'm just trying to adjust my receiver to see if I can pull you out a little better, but I missed some of that. I'm not going to lie. W2BTK.
no problem, boy. I was on 75. Every time I'm on 70, I was on 75. Go figure, huh? Anyway, better now?
Yeah, that's a little better.
I'm running about 30 watts right now. The amp is not turned on yet.
You're doing just fine on 30 watts. I mean, I hear you. The modulation is getting up above the noise. Your carrier is well above. Pretty strong carrier, but, it's a very nice sounding modulation, but kind of low.
No problem. I turned it on a bit. Hope this is better. Let me know in a few more words. WB2HJK. Good into it.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. What's up, George?
Well, I put together, as you probably know, I restored things from World War II in Vietnam and Korea. I mean, many headsets, to the best of my ability. Things that are completely wiped out from bad storage or whatever. Anyway, and this particular boom mic I'm about to test, I had to convert it to a condenser element. Unfortunately, the dynamic element shot. This is a Vietnam headset. Anyway, so as you know, it's not a crystal element, so it's not appropriate for AM. It won't sound right. sounds kind of muffled.
I'm back, and I got a fresh beer. W2BTK.
In fact, try to,
Hey, stand by.
I guess, emulate the high pass filter. And I'm about to connect it to the element in a few minutes. I won't do it on the air though. I'll do it off frequency. And be able to see if I'm hearing myself with a higher tone. Since I had no scope, it'll be a very, very, very subjective observation on my part. Anyway, so that's it. That's the big news on my part. What's up with you?
It's a World War II vintage microphone, and you're not using it right now. Obviously, I don't think you are anyway. But wow, that sounds pretty cool. I'll be excited to hear that. And I think you said you converted it to a condenser. Very cool. I mean, you're like the microphone guy, George. I don't have any old mics like that. My brothers have a bunch of old rifles from like World War II. But yeah, I take it back, honestly. I've got some. No, my plate transformer on the 810s is pre-war, but still, very cool. And I heard KB3AL in there. Welcome back. And just talking to George out there, I'm not sure if you're hearing him, Al, so let me know. W2BTK. What? What happened?
To me?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I heard KB3AL came back, and you unkeyed, and I spoke, and then that was it. Not too sure.
Oh, Billy, I'm sorry. I thought you gave it to the other station, KB2AL. I misunderstood. Well, I don't know. I thought you were asking if he was copying me. So let me give it back over to KB2AL if you copy. Go ahead. I don't hear him.
Yeah, I don't either. That's why I did ask him if he could hear you, but I don't know. You're sounding good here, George. You actually just came up a little too.
Yeah, you just came up down here, George. I can hear you fine now. I couldn't hear you a minute ago, but I can hear you now.
Thank you, Perry. Hi. Well, I turned on the amp. The amp was only doing 30 watts before. Now I'm doing what? 400 watts, I think. What meter movement accuracy I can depend on here. Anyway, and what I was saying before, real quick, Billy and the rest of you, is sometimes I come across headsets from either World War II or Korea, Vietnam. And of course, with the boom mic, that's defunct. And I try to restore them or place some kind of some technical attention to it. Sometimes I can restore them. But as you probably know, the carbon mics of World War II, the world sounds good here. They sound very, very carbon mic. And but when those elements go bad, I put an element inside, electric. But of course, the electric element in all headsets that I had to restore does not sound proper. It sounds very bassy, very muffled. So I'm in the middle of just putting an LC circuit, variable LC circuit, in a few minutes. I'll do that off frequency. At the point, of the terminals of the electric, and see if I can give it a more high pass, and then find out what those values are, and miniaturize them and put them in the boom mics. That's basically it. Otherwise, that's all I'm doing. Go ahead, Billy.
yeah, it's just the way it is. I don't know. Sometimes you're real good, sometimes not so much. But it's still amazing, eh? Like, I know what you're doing over there. And the fact that you get out here and do what you do is, well, it's impressive. You know? I'm lucky over here. I could pretty much do anything I want. And if that wasn't the case, I'm sure I would just get discouraged and not even do it. You know? So, that's, you know, I'm trying to say something here, and I respect what you do out there, George.
All right. I thank you for those kind words, but they're not applicable here. All I'm doing is soldering my fingers. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, if not all, on the AM frequencies that deserve that praise. No way in hell am I taking all that. What I'm doing is really just a matter of passion. As a veteran, I'm keen on being able to, contribute something, even on a nostalgic level, to make these things have a second life, if you will, outside the military service. That's basically all I'm doing. It's really just a hobby within a hobby, I guess. So let me give it over to Perry. Perry, I hope everything's well with you and Dad, and give my best to all. I'll make it a couple more rounds, and I'm going to go back to soldering my fingers here. W3MMR and the group, and those listening herds out there in SWL land. This is WB2HJK. Perry?
Perry?
Sorry. I walked away for a second. What's up?
You have to make a transmission now.
Okay. I'm George. I'm pissed weak. I'm only running 30 watts. No amplificator this evening. Just put some dinner in the wave. But you sounded good, George. And you're definitely coming up. W3MMR.
No problem at all. But let me go back to my thing, and probably others will want to take the mic and say hi to everybody. And I just got into the shack. I'm trying to finish my testing here with the LC circuit. So I'll catch you guys in a few. So back over to you. She goes, Billy. And hopefully I'm not distorting. I think I detect a little bit pushing, a little rough edges for my audio here. So let me go ahead and give it back over to you, Billy. Please continue, and I'll catch you in a few minutes. Propagation will probably be better for me anyway. W2BTK in the group. WB2HJK.
You're doing fine, George. You came up. I think Perry's running like 20 watts, and you two are about the same. Perry's a little bit stronger here, but almost the same signal, and that's really good. So yeah, I'm just doing my Twitch stream and hanging out. I guess there were a bunch of people on here. They come and go, but I'm in it for the long haul. 718, isn't it? W2BTK.
Thank you. Okay, Billy. I'll be in and out of here. Obviously saying hello to everybody. Thanks. Catch you in a few. And give my best to everybody on frequency if I don't make it back. WB2HJK listening.
See you later, George.
Yeah, see you, George.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta mow my grass before it gets dark. AB3AL 73.
I copied you that time.
Yeah, you might be, must have a small yard, man. It's almost dark here.
It is small. It's 80 by 20.
Whew. Yeah, that's pretty small. That's smaller than my yard, man.
Yeah. But I got trees behind me, and I'm friends with a mechanic shop that owns them. So that's where the antennas are. And he paid me to install cameras, and I keep them running in free service calls. And I get to use these trees in his lot for antennas, so it works out.
You guys suck with your small yards. I got acres to mow here. KD2 AFV.
My old man had 20 acres, and growing up I had to mow that crap. And when I bought a house with a small lot and big trees and behind me. So I get away from that. Got tired of riding the tractor, the farm all, AB3AL 73s.
See ya!
See ya. Trust me, Toby, I'd love to have acres to mow.
You know what, Perry? You think that at first. But when it's the middle of August, there's not a cloud in the sky, 90% humidity, 95 degrees outside, no breeze, and you got to sit on a lawnmower for, hours on end, it's not all that great.
I'll second that. My grass is just starting to grow over here.
Yeah, we just mowed the lawn here for the first time like 4 days ago.
I could get my lawn mowed in about 2.5, 3 hours if I don't stop at all. It's only like 1.3 acres. But man, I got a little Cub Cadet lawnmower tractor. And that thing, I don't know, you can't plow through stuff with it. You gotta kind of go easy. Especially if you get into a little bit of high grass or weeds or something. I mean, you gotta creep through them or things like,
Poor little Cub Cadet struggling along. I made the mistake last week. I mowed my lawn. I have a riding mower and I have a push mower because the front yard of my house, all my yard is fenced in, and the front yard my wife has all of the dog agility equipment set up there. So the deal was, since you have to mow around all that stuff and move it, that she mows the front yard with the push mower, and I mow everything else with the riding mower. But I decided, you know what? I want to get me some good exercise. I'm going to mow the entire yard with the push mower. And yeah, 6 hours later, and I think 6 or 7 tanks of gas, I was really regretting that decision.
Dude, when I first moved here, before I got my little tractor, I borrowed a lawnmower from my buddy, a push mower, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do this for a couple months till I can, afford a tractor. And I think I mowed half of my lawn, and it took me half of the day. And this is right after I bought the house, so the grass was real high, man. It was almost a foot high. And this push mower, and oh my God. I bought a tractor the next week. Got good financing over there at Home Depot, You can just buy a tractor and kind of worry about it later. $100-something at a time.
There you go, man. Well, I got spoiled. I used to work maintenance worker at a high school, and it was our job to mow the lawn, and we had really, really nice Bobcat zero turns with suspension seats, and the heck was it? It's like the 24 horse or 30 horse V-twin motor on it. I mean, you could go through basically a hayfield at full speed with those things. Didn't feel a bump, and it never slowed down. Cut everything perfect. Then I get my own yard and I'm pushing a damn mower around.
WA1STH.
K1GTX.
Go ahead, both you guys. Now, since you both came in, you've got a you got to duel it out for who goes first. So you got to key up at the same time, and then Toby will be the official for this match, and he's gonna call it, and I'm gonna be a second opinion if I have to jump in. If it's too close, then I'll call it. All right? This is called a key down. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
I'm not gonna
Did I make it or not?
GTX.
Oh man, I think I might have to give that to STH.
All right. It's funny how that works, because I heard GTX had a little bit of an edge here. But anyway, since we're going to stick with the rules, Steve, you go first. W2BTK.
Well, Billy, I thought that was kind of a unique idea. Really. That was interesting. Huh. What's new with you fellas? You're both sounding marvelous, got good strong signals up into New Hampshire tonight. Hello to GTX. And I am on the FT 101 tonight. WA1STH.
What's up, man? Just joining the group here, and that's why I'm glad I was even heard here. I'm just doing what we can do, and loving the lawnmower chat here. I have a little Craftsman 21-inch mower here, and it takes me about an hour and a half to do my little postage sample on here. But boy, I'd love to have one of those zero-turn units there. Come on, whoever takes it back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the lawnmower convo, it's good and all, but a little boring, I'll admit. I'm just chilling over here. I've been out here for a couple hours. I'm running my live stream right now. Some people watching on the internet, chatting along to our conversation here. So you can all say hi to everybody out there on the interwebs.
That's cool.
Yeah, man, Billy, I've got logged into yours. The URL is funny. And Perry's, I got him too, so he's good. I know he's running low power, but for a minute there, he was peaking up here almost 15 over on the 20 watt, so he was doing pretty good. Anyway, I just want to make my presence known here, out here on the lonely island of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I'm going to get myself a refill, and let's get this channel rolling here. We'll turn it back to whoever picks it next. K1 GTX.
Toby, Steve, I know you guys are out here.
Oh yeah, I just didn't want to jump in and take over on anybody. Plus, I think I need to go grab another beer. This one's getting awful low. KD2 AFV.
KD2 AFV in the group, WA1STH. Well, I was looking around for a screwdriver. I got a loose knob on the radio that I wanted to tighten up, but I can't find a screwdriver that will fit in the slot. So I'm hunting for one of those. You know how those small screwdrivers tend to be elusive.
K1 KVW.
K1 KVW, good evening.
Good evening. Man, I just made a screwdriver tonight.
W2BTK.
Yeah, there we go. They're all coming out of the woodwork. Hello, Bob. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
K1 Karen. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Bobby. W2BTK.
Good Lord, everybody's coming out. I'm pissed weak. I'm PW Fallon today.
Yeah, K1 Karen. Yeah, slight adjustment here. Evening, guys. K1 Karen. Yeah, I was trying to make that vodka joke myself there, Bob, but I couldn't get the switches thrown quick enough. Okay. Steve, you got... Crap out.
Uh-oh, crap out.
Who had a crap out? I didn't have a crap out. I'm still transmitting.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing? W2BTK.
I thought you said, hey, Steve, and then you went away.
No, I said, did you get the stuff I sent you in the 101?
Yeah, I thought I responded to you. No?
Okay. Well, there's those two boards. One's pin 8, one's pin 9. There's a
Something's going on there, Bob.
Yeah, you cut out again right in the middle of the sentence.
Yeah, you said there's a yip, and that's all we got.
I think it's a useless situation tonight. Everybody's doubling and tripling.
No,
Well, who's winning?
he cut out in the middle of a sentence.
I cut out in the middle of a sentence?
Yes,
I
you
don't
did.
know why. That's, yeah.
Yeah, you did, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's cutting out. The overload shutdown's kicking in. What the hell's going on here? That ain't right. Huh.
Yeah, the last time you were talking, you said, yeah, there's a yip, and that's all we got. We'll wait and see, how you make out. You'll be back.
Yeah, just crank it.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can make an adjustment here. See if that changes anything. It was running obscene power. Let's see. Yeah, that could have been it.
All right, I'm looking for a screwdriver. I'll be back.
Oh, that's more better. Oh, much more better, Ro. Okay.
What?
Yeah, I was just running obscene power here. Anyway, Steve, let's see what I want to say. Oh, yeah, between those two boards, pin 8 and pin 9, there's a yellow and white wire.
Cut out again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I had the guest keyed up.
It sounds okay over here, Bob. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, he cuts out. Bob, when I get around to doing that, you can explain it to me, because I'll forget.
Oh, okay. No, the overload shutdown was kicking out because I had, I don't know, I was running obscene power, and it doesn't, it won't let me do that, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it did it again, though.
And it kicked out again. Well, that's really strange. Oh, I think I know why. Okay. Anyway, I'll fix it. All I gotta do is unscrew something here. K1 KBW.
Seems...
WA1STH, looking for a screwdriver. I'll be back.
It kind of seems like you had a little... like you're overshooting a little bit or something tonight too, Bob. I don't usually see that on your signal, but on certain like S's and T's, it was getting out. It might be my receiver. I haven't stuck any attenuation in there to prove, you know, that it's not my setup over here, which it could very well be. I just figured I would mention it because I saw a little bit of overshoot getting out there kind of far on the S's and T's, and that's not normal.
Yeah, okay. I think, am I transmitting? I can't tell now. My meter's already on 0, so let me look at, okay, yep, okay. That's what it was. I had the beverage antenna hooked up. For some reason, when I got that hooked up, because it's so close to this antenna, it causes a problem, and it causes my overload shutdown in the rig to shut down, but that should be a lot better. K1 KBW.
I'm going to grind a screwdriver. I'll be back.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, now you sound all right.
30 over now on the Cape. You've done it.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it was. I had the beverage antenna hooked up. I just put it into a dummy load, and that ended that problem. So. Yeah, because I was seeing some field strength down here in the shack, and I don't usually have any, so it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to kick out the overload shutdown. So I got all kinds of protection circuits here, and stuff isn't exactly the way it should be. The overload shutdown will shut down, and it says, no, you ain't transmitting, dude. You got problems, RF problems. So that took care of that. K1 KBW.
Well, you sound good here in Ohio tonight, Bob. WD8BIL.
Hey, buddy. Anyway, Steve, no, there's, if you look at the schematic that I sent you, you see there's, where it hooks up between the two boards, pin 8 and pin 9. There is a wire in the one, your 101 that goes between pin 8 and pin 9. It's a yellow and white wire. You have to cut that. Okay, that sends the audio from one board to the other. You don't want that. When you put that switch in there, then it makes contact. It does the same thing as that wire does. And when you flip it the other way, it disables one board and lets all your outboard audio go into your modulator, balance modulator. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. K1KBW.
So, Bobby, it doesn't the patch connected on the back where it says patch, doesn't that go to your balance modulator, or does that go to your main audio?
What? What?
That's what I say, what?
Weak.
I can't get my scope to look good on the webcam. It just looks like a blurry blotch of light, and then I turn it down a little bit, and it's like too dim. Dude, this is hard.
You know, I can get my scope to look marvelous.
Put a weight on it?
Nope, just get a picture of myself and paste it on the front of the scope. Then it looks marvelous. I gotta get an adult beverage after that one. What KBW?
Yeah, good evening, Bob. Billy, key up so I can see it.
Hello. Look at that. I don't have it set like one box up, one box down. I could do that, but that's it right there. There you go.
Yeah, it looks kind of... Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. It looks like the bass line's like super, super thick.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's, I don't have it set for one box up, one box down. It's just, it is what it is. I'm really just watching my negative cycle. I don't care about anything else.
Well, what's the FPS on that camera? Because it looks like your frame speed, you have like a really low frames per second on that camera, and that's why it's looking like a blob.
Yeah, it is. It's really low. It's a cheap-ass camera. I mean, it's really just, oh, look at that. It's just a gimmick, you know?
Oh, I gotcha. Well, it looks better than nothing, I guess.
I'm just trying to get the intensity so that it looks okay.
That's pretty intense.
Yaw.
Yeah. Monkey puppet strikes again.
Big time.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah, it works better with audio.
Well, he was on the wrong frequency. He was on 75. I think we're on 73. At least that's where my transmitter is.
Yeah, that's what I'm showing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and open up the receiver for a few minutes here while I can.
Yeah, open it right up. Open it up to about 30 kHz and see if I can flatten it out there.
Is this frequency an abuse?
It's an abuse.
Oh, absolutely.
Good. It's a good place to be, I guess.
Phew, man, that food was good.
Can you copy with quick Wi-Fi?
Man, I can't believe I'm doing 85 watts. Peak PEP.
Perry, S30 here in Cape Cod.
No.
Yeah.
How many peak watts am I doing, Perry?
I don't know how many peak watts you're doing, but I have a 20 watt carrier and I'm peaking around 85 watts.
Yeah, you're.
Oh, hold on, I can do that. Give me a sec.
Yeah, Perry, you're right here in Ohio. I can hear you quite well.
And I'm only running 2 watts according to the flex.
I wish I had the peaking. I guess that means my antenna's doing.
Yay, 30 watts.
Yeah, I guess that means my antenna's doing okay.
What does 30 watts do?
20 over S9.
All right, I only got 30 watts right now. Hang on, I'm gonna do something. Hello. What's the difference?
Went from a 15 over to a 30 over here, Billy.
Yeah, same here, Billy. You went 20 over to 40 over.
It was about a 15 dB increase. You went from 20 over to 35 over.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't seem right. You all got to check your instruments over there. That can't be.
Well, you went from 8 over to 15 over up here in Vermont.
About 9 to 30.
Nah, that's got to be measurement error.
Yeah, of course it is.
No, see, the big problem here is, Billy, you're probably running one of them audio antennas. You need one of the signal antennas. A guy down on 11 meter told me that.
No, I already have audio coils on my antenna. See, they put those coils on the antennas. Those are to get you more audio. So I've got audio coils, but I'm also running audio pills. Because, some transistors are, we'll call them pills because that's the real term. They're not good for audio. They just make watts. So, like, I've got the audio pills, too, and audio coils on my antenna. So now I just need to get some echo because I heard from a guy that if you want to get out farther in DX, then you just need echo. But I'm waiting for one of those like ICOM like you got with the 7300. It's got that big old knob right in the middle, and I assume that's for echo.
Oh yeah, man, it's definitely for that. The big question though is the audio coils on your antenna. Are they round or are they flat? Because the flat coils, they're for power. The round coils, those are the ones that are for audio. KD2 AFV.
Oh, I should have a slight bit of echo on my signal. Do I have a little bit on there? Yay.
Yeah, you do. You have a little reverb. And Toby, it's kind of secret. It's like a new design. It's the preferred material. I'll give you that. But that's all I'm giving you.
Okay. I got it. That's that some of that new technology out there.
Yeah, it's the preferred material.
Either now.
Yeah, but is the antenna designed for maximum VSWR?
I like to pump up my reflect for maximum backswing, and I'll usually lube it up a little to help the watts slide off.
Yeah, I put those things on the wife gets them. It comes in a little package for anti-static she uses in the washing machine. I put them on my antenna. Takes all the static away.
Shame on the mess.
Yep.
Cover the stuff that works good too for getting rid of the static.
Shame on the mess.
Let's be over and check it.
I'll usually, well, now it's kind of hard with the COVID-19, coronavirus, Chinese virus, whatever you want to call it, all this stuff going on. It's hard to get that stuff. Dryer sheets, I know, I use those for anti-static also. Walmart vodka and masks, they'll only let you buy 2 things of Walmart vodka, and then you can't find Extends anywhere. I mean, it used to be in the checkout line. I would grab, 5, 6, 17 packs of Extends or so for the week or whatever. You can't get it anymore.
Oh, I got the Extends. I put them on my antenna, and it extends your antenna. It works great.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hard DX.
That's right, that hard dig 6.
Anywhere. I mean, it used to be in the checkout line. I would grab.
I just like when I'm contesting, I'll pop a few of those things and I'll attack that DX with a raging hard on. W2BTK.
Well, I did that one time, and I had to run into the next room and pole vaulted out the goddamn window.
Oh, that's perfect. I needed a good laugh. I gotta hop out of here, guys. Gotta get home and eat some dinner. It's late for me. 7-3 KD2 AFV to everybody out there.
Catch you later. K1, keep banking women.
I got hammers down.
See you, Toby. Bye, Toby. I'm pissed weak.
See you, Toby. Perry says goodbye.
I need like relays, man.
Well, pump it up, man.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped to the max. I took my extends for the night. It's all I got.
Didn't take enough.
I know, man.
Anyway, K1, killer-based weapons.
I still like killer bondweed better.
Yeah, that's okay. Keep baffling Washington. Keep binking women. You know, whatever you like.
1446 is in line.
That's right.
Those are those audio pills, Daryl.
Yeah, how about some 2290s?
Man, if not, 1446 is shoot. You got a pair of them, MRF 1446s. That's all you need. You don't need no HG 2879Cs, some 100-watt pills. You don't need them cotton choppers.
Yeah, but
Some fat boy units.
those 1446 audio pills, they give you more audio.
I got IRP 260Ns.
Yeah, they're audio fets.
Yeah, and then I got the FQA 11 and 90s.
I don't know what's in this radio. I know they're LUMOS transistors, but I don't know what they are.
You know, that's the problem. That's when an overload shutdown was kicking out. This thing was running obscene power. I should have looked at the watt meter.
Good thing it does that, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, the overload says, no, you're running too much power. I ain't going to let you do that no more.
I got this thing turned down. I haven't been able to turn it up. I don't have enough airflow on the tube, so I gotta baby it.
Yeah, I don't even need no airflow. I got fans in here, but I don't use them. Don't need to. Damn thing is 95 to 97% efficient. Doesn't create any heat at all. The good thing I got heat in the basement here. I'd freeze to death. My upstairs station with that freaking that amplifier up there with that 1200 tube in there. Jesus Christ Almighty! It gets so hot in there I can't stand it.
Yeah, this thing. Let's see. Oh, it's only exhausting 107 degree air right now. If I talk for about a minute, it should be about 150.
Yeah, I just shot my thing with the temperature probe, and it's it's saying it's 85 degrees.
My filaments run at 85 degrees when everything is just idling.
Yeah, well, for this thing to even get to 90, I'd have to do an old buzzard for about 3 or 4 hours.
Billy, how far do you have your, where do you have your temperature probe?
It's right above the tube where all the air blows out.
So it's like right on the edge of the cabinet, like you can't get it really any closer to the tube?
Yeah, the whole top of this thing has like a mesh, like it's like a screen almost, little holes in it you could see through, and the exhaust probe just sits right on top of that, on the outside of the RF deck, above some holes.
Right, okay, yeah, that's right. I keep mine right on the on the exhaust there. I didn't know if you had it somewhere else or inside or something, but yeah, mine's probably less than an inch from the tube, because the tube is right up against the edge of the cabinet. And when I'm running this amplifier, it idles around like 117, 118, something like that. And after like a 5-minute old buzzer, it gets up to about 210. Woohoo! It gets. I've never talked to it longer than 5 or 6 minutes at a time. But, them old buzzers in the morning get pretty long.
I know you left that thing heat up for a while one time, and I was super impressed at the power supply holding together, especially because you said it started arcing and stuff, and that pulls some current. Do you have glass chimneys on that, or a glass chimney on that, Perry?
No, I would like to, but there's no underneath to pressurize. You know what I mean? I would have to put it in I'd have to build something underneath of it to do that, and really modify the hell out of it. But yeah, I left the thing keyed up for 20 minutes and about 1,000 watts of carrier. I was just doing, I was demonstrating the tune feature on the Anon for a buddy of mine that was wanting to buy one. And I was, I didn't have the monitor on, so I couldn't hear the tone of the, of the tune. So, and I made the video, then I went to sending it to him, and I didn't even think about shutting it off. And I was sitting there texting back and forth and realized the amplifier was still keyed. It was so hot I couldn't touch the front of it. I couldn't touch the front of the amplifier. It was that hot. And I just, obviously unkeyed it and left it on. Put every fan in the house I had on it. And I keyed it up the next morning, and everything was fine. I'm surprised I didn't blow the Anon up, too.
Hey, Perry, so you'd have to mod it to have a glass chimney. Now, that's a big step up to get the glass chimney and the airflow across it, but believe it or not, BBI had a really good video, very scientific, with these anode caps, the oversized anode caps. I think they got them on rfjunk.com for the 3500Z. And he's in there running the thing with the old cap and then running it with the new cap and taking temperature readings and stuff. And it was actually like a really well put together video, very scientific, and I'm impressed by the oversized anode caps, how much cooler the tube runs. I don't know if you have those or have tried those. A buddy of mine out in Phoenix, he's got a 2-tuber that he runs on the chicken band, and he switched over to those oversized anode caps, and he was like, holy crap, like they work.
I made my own for 3500Zs out of aluminum. Made them like fins. About probably 1.5 inch diameter, and I made them on the lathe and made fins on them, and they screw onto the anodes of the tubes. They work pretty good. They call them something coolers. I forget exactly what the term is.
That's cool, Bob. And those 305Zs, they're made to take a beating, and if you can get some heat out of extracted from them, it's a good too. Plus, they're not too much money either.
Well, listen,
right, yeah. Well, I'd taken a SB220 and modified it for 6 meters. 6 only. It was strictly a 6-meter amp. Thing did, was it, I think 1,392 watts out. That thing was nice.
I've seen that video, Billy, but I thought about, I always wondered if they made a difference, and they're not that expensive. You can get them on eBay or RF Junk is the one that Tin Man I wouldn't buy there because he disappeared off the face of the earth, that guy. He had back problems and has a bunch of people's amplifiers and a whole bunch of stuff that he owes people. So I wouldn't order from there, from RF Junk, but You can get them on eBay, the same exact ones. And they're really, I think they're like 30 or 40 bucks a piece. But I don't plan on having this amplifier, obviously, forever. It's one that I'm probably never going to get rid of. But if I'm going to, go through all that trouble and put in a tube stream, I might as well just build another amplifier, which is what I'm going to do eventually. I've been sourcing parts for a build now for a 2500Z box. Pretty much modeled after an AL82, but in a different cabinet.
Yeah, they're great tubes. The 3500Zs are great tubes. And you can, if you run them at 3600 to 3800 volts, they'll do legal limit, no problem.
Woo, that's hot.
WA1STH. Is my audio too hot, or is it about right?
No, sounds good.
Yeah, those AL82s, man, they run at, I think, 3800 or 3900 volts on the plates of the 3500s and that thing. And those things, that amplifier do legal limit day and night. This AL80 runs about 3200 on the plates at idle, and then about 3100 while keyed at 200 watts.
Yeah, well, 3500Cs, you can push them. Yeah, you can actually do 4,000 volts, but they won't last real long doing that. But 36, 3800, 38's pushing them. 36 is probably about where you want to run them to get good power out of them, and it won't kill them too quick.
You are 100% correct.
I know I am.
What don't you know?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, so one day, when I stop procrastinating, I'll get around to doing that, but, I don't know, I just get on with my regular setup, and it works so well. It's not like I'm being forced to build something, you know what I mean? So I get home from work and I'm tired, and then on my days off I'm lazy, and I just gotta get more motivation, that's all. W3MMR.
Yeah, K1 KBW. My son Bobby Jr., he's got the 2200, which is the last one. They had the SB220, then they did the 2200. 2200 is the last one they made, which has got also a pair of 3500Zs like the 220. But it's got a much better plate transformer. I think it runs around 3600 volts on the plates, and that thing does legal limit. That's a nice amplifier, and it looks nice too. It's not that brindle shit green color.
NAQKC.
Yeah, I thought about getting into the breaking.
I heard a breaking station.
Yeah. Needed some work, needed a set of tubes, and then building a nice power supply for it. And, beefing up the cooling system on it. And that's honestly the path that I was really going to go down.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a 220. The only problem is that they won't do 160, but that's the only drawback on them.
Yeah, well, I always have this amplifier, I guess, if I need to do 160, but I don't know. Yeah, I would probably, if I'm going to build an amplifier, I would want 160 on it if I'm going to go through all that work.
Yeah, well, I got the AL1200, and that's 160 through 10, and that'll do more than legal limit. I think it'll do about 1800, maybe a little bit more. And that's a single tube.
What? On what amplifier?
The AL1200.
Oh yeah, they're nice amplifiers, man. Except that only the tube costs like buku bucks if you need one.
Yeah, they're like 12 to 1400 bucks. But the thing is, you can't really kill them. They've got 50 watts of grid dissipation. You'd really have to try to kill that tube.
Wait, what?
What?
I said you'd have to really try to kill an AL1200 too. 50 watts of grid dissipation. That's one powerful sucker.
Grid, tubes. I love tubes, man. I might build like a solid state rig one day for the summertime, you know, Bob, but it's just something about tubes. Like, I can't get over it. I just can't get over it.
Well, I was raised with tubes. I'm 75 years old. I didn't even have transistors when I was young. But yeah, they're 3500s are nice tubes. The AL 1200. The only problem with the 1200s, you can't get pulls because they don't use them for anything else. Now the AL 1500 that Ameritron has uses the 8877, so you can get pulls because a lot of your MRI machines used 8877s. Of course, now they switched to FETs, but there's a lot of pulls out there for the 8877s. You can get them fairly cheap. That's a powerful tube.
Yeah, man.
2,500 watts with 40 watts of drive, AB3AL.
That's right. Yeah, you build an amplifier with 2 or 4 of those, and yeah, you got some obscene power. Yep.
You can destroy an AL1200. You just reach between your legs and grab your monkey mouth.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hard. Like I said, they got 50 watts of grid dissipation. You got the 800s. They're nice tubes, but they're very touchy as far as grid current. And if your amplifier is one of the older ones that doesn't have the grid protection circuit in there, man, you can blow them. And those tubes ain't cheap either.
A quick test if I can. WB2BTK. Audio check. Anyone? Bob, how copy? K1KBW in the group WB2HJK.
Yeah, you sound kind of... You sound kind of like that, George.
Okay, thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Please carry on, guys.
Too much bass.
Yeah, I told you, last time I talked to you, you sounded great. I said leave it alone, but I guess you didn't.
That's not a good thing, George. With a headset, Bob. Everything else is intact. 73 for now.
Yeah, whatever you do, you've got absolutely no top end above 1K.
Yeah, I know, it sounds like...
You're talking with a hot dog in your mouth.
I'm trying to just find out the proper sequence of components to give it a high pass on the boom mic's electric element. I haven't found it so far. Sorry about that pillow talk. Please, guys, carry on. Sorry for the interruption. Catch you guys later. WB2HTK. Thanks, Bob.
Well, now you sound okay, George.
You came way up, George.
I know. This is a good one for it. The other one's a headset from Vietnam. I have to work on it. Haven't found any way to get the high pass, the high frequencies out of that damn mic.
Send it back to Vietnam.
Again. Bye.
Yeah, send it back.
NAQPC, yeah, sorry, everybody, there's a bunch of doubling going on, but I hear you.
Or better yet, take a 12 gauge and blast it.
I prefer having input on one there as to how to get the 2 components at least I can put in line with it to give it a really, really high pass. But no, I ain't gonna go too much effort. And it's nostalgic, Bob. It's a headset. So I'm treating it with TLC. You know what I mean. Good, Bob.
Somebody doing FT8?
I was trying to break in, and I'm too weak to acknowledge them, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, NAQPC's been trying to get in there, so let's let them in there, guys. K1KBW.
Sorry about that, guys.
KBW. I didn't want to be... I wasn't going to just key up in there and
Too late.
run anybody over. Just even how you guys doing up that way?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, no problems here. John. Yeah, it's just everybody's keying up. But, it's one of those nights. Everybody's itchy on the key, and of course I'm guilty too.
Yeah, I know how it is. I got my SP220 here, and I got that Peter Dahl transformer and put the full wave bridge in there. juice to it and a little more current and got away from that voltage doubler. I like mine. It runs really good. It runs a lot hotter. It's got, like you said, around 3,600 volts. When I put it on sideband, the plate meter just sits in the corner. I got one of those aftermarket black anodized faces for it and painted the case black. It looks pretty now. It matches my TR7 real nice.
Oh yeah, it's a perfect voltage for a 3500Z. Is 3600. You can go higher, but you'll kill the tube. You shorten the life of it. But 3600, they kind of like it there, and you'll get tremendous power out of them. It's to me that's probably the pristine voltage to run a 3500Z at is 3600 volts.
Yeah, the only problem was finding space to squeeze 2 more filter caps in there.
Yeah, well, you can always outboard them.
No, I found space. I made room for them, but it runs smooth, man. It ran as good as my L4B. So I got rid of the L4B just because it's saving too much money. You know how that goes. Well, I ain't gonna stay too long. I know you guys are talking to your son and talking up on the East Coast, and I'm stuck out here in Detroit, waiting for Foreland to wake up.
Okay, John. Yeah, the only problem with the L4B is the plate voltage I know is pretty low. I think it's only like 31 or 3200 volts. It's really maybe even less, 3000. It's pretty low. I know that. And they do that so that the tube lasts forever, but of course it cuts your power down. The L7, I think that one's the one that has 160 in it, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably the best one, but still they like to run them at lower voltage.
The L7 used the same power supply as the L4, but the only problem with the L7 is you put a crappy band switch in it. The band switch is known for crapping out on them. But I like that box because it matches what I got. I haven't been able to find one. I haven't been able to find is I've been trying to find a noise board for a TR7, and man, they are like hen's teeth. I've been trying to find one now for 5 years.
Yeah, I got a band switch here. I don't think it's really out of anything, but it's a meaty. It'll handle a hell of a lot of power. Of course, I don't know what I'm going to use it for because I don't run tubes. Well, actually, running FETs, you run high amperage, so I guess, it would handle that okay too. So, I don't know. But this rig here is a dual band, but I just have a toggle switch on there. And you just, flip it up and it's 80 meters, flip it down, it's 160. So it's a lot easier to do it with the FETs. And I could have went with, having a 160 coil and then tapping it to 80, like they do on tubes, because, you can do the same thing with the FETs. I decided to go with 2 separate coils. I have a 160 coil and an 80 meter coil, and that seemed to work out a whole hell of a lot better. So I don't know if it would with tubes, but it definitely works better with FETs.
Oh yeah, that's, like along the lines of how they built the old transmitters with plug-in coils, you know what I mean? Like my Glove King 400 was like that. I like that rig. Kind of wished I hadn't got rid of it. It was nice, but I had too much junk laying around here. I got my 41000 amp with that big Barker and Williamson band switch in it, the one that's got the tank coils built into the band switch. I like that, but I don't even have it in my shack right now. It's sitting in the garage because I got to build a power supply for it. That amp rocks, but I need to build a power supply for like 5,500, 6,000 volts. That tube likes the volts.
Yeah. When you get up to that voltage, you can leave me out. Got hit with 2250 across my chest and damn near killed me. That's why I switched to FETs about 20 years ago. So anyway, let me shut up for a minute. There's a whole bunch of people in here, and let them get back in here and ham it up. And I'm gonna hit the command center and get me another adult beverage, K1 KBW.
Alright, K1, KVW, and QPC. I'm going to bow out and let you guys run with it. And let the band roll on 73s to all I'm going to listen.
Test. Sorry, I'm looking at the Georgia Web SDR.
All right, Georgia.
Yeah, look at that. We've got a little bit of a signal down there. Solid S9 plus 5 or so.
And it's going to be getting stronger, ain't it? You're 30 over here, man, on the East Coast. So, but yeah, it's going to be moving down south that way pretty soon here. Come here.
Yep, it begins. I'm going to keep my eye on this and see what happens. Yeah, I'm only about an S9 down there, but it's a hell of an S9. It's jumping up to like plus 5, almost plus 10 sometimes.
What kind of signal y'all got on this here quarter-watt walkie-talkie key, man?
In Georgia, it's showing that you were about an S8, creeping right up to about an S9. So I'm a little over an S9, you're like a little under an S9.
And I'm probably not even making it, come on.
What?
Nah, I could see your carrier on there. It's at about an S6.
Yeah, I'm pissed weak.
Like S7. I give you an S7.
Okay.
You can look for yourself. I mean, it's up on my stream right now. I've got the New Jersey pan adapter and the Georgia pan adapter up there.
I know, I'm doing other stuff. I guess I could look at it though.
Maybe I should go to the barn and get my other amp.
Yeah, I mean, I can see my carrier on the waterfall. That's pretty cute.
Whoa!
Well, the problem is, if I get the other amp, I gotta run a different circuit to the shack.
But I'm telling him that if he's going to run ladder line right to a balun outside the window, he's going to experience more loss in that balun than he would with just, running coax right up to the feed line. He's already got his G5RV for smaller band, for the upper bands. But hey, can't tell anybody nothing.
Why, dude? That's what I'm doing. That's what you're doing too, Perry. You use a balun to convert from unbalanced to balanced.
The tuner to the shack with coax.
Right, but he's still going to have a 30 or 40 foot run of coax from the window into his bedroom, or maybe a little less.
So you're saying he would have less loss if he used a coax to feed his dipole rather than using open wire?
For tubing and
No.
Made a link coupled tuner, and I used to have that outside, and I actually had a couple of them. I set one for 40.
Yeah, put the tuner right at the window.
And I just realized
I hope you got a 1-to-1.
Yeah, put the tuner at the window, or run the ladder line 40 feet through the house. So I know a guy that did that. Ran 450 on ladder line under his carpet, through his living room, down the hall, and into his ham shack, 40 or 50 feet of cable, to an 80-meter dipole of, I don't know, 60, 70 feet. That guy worked 100 countries on 20 meter sideband with that setup.
That's what I do over here, Chris. The ladder line comes right down into the shack, through my roof, through the attic, through the ceiling in the shack, and right over to the tuner.
Yeah, well, Connor lives with his parents, and he has to run the feed line down a common hallway.
I did that at my parents' house too.
I've run ladder lines through a drop ceiling.
I just don't see it as practical for him in the situation that he's in. But I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. I did it just fine at my parents' house. I drilled 2 holes, 1-inch diameter, right through my room to the outside of the house. I had some 1-inch hard line that I used as a pass-through. I used like a 1-foot section, 2 of them. Popped them in the holes, attached, the THHN coming off my tuner to that. And on the outside where it's stubbed out, I soldered my feed line to it and up it went. And when we sold the place, I patched the drywall in about a half an hour. Good as new. Used some wood putty and some spacers I made, popped them right in the holes there. Filled it in with great stuff, sanded it down with the wood putty, and it was like nothing ever happened.
Well, you had some good parents that let you get away with that.
Right. Though I came to them with a proposal, a very well thought out proposal. It was written down on paper. I had a meeting with my parents and I was like, this is what I propose to do. This is the pros, this is the cons, this is, what it's going to do to the house. It's repairable, blah, blah, blah. We went through like the whole thing and they were like, okay, like you can have permission to do that.
Wow, you were lucky. Well, I went through a lot of collective bargaining with my parents over stuff like that, and my father was a ham, as you know. And when it came to that, he advised me to close the window on the open wire line. Meanwhile, upstairs, he had replaced a window pane with plexiglass and had feed-through insulators in it.
Yeah, my dad's a ham, and they live on 30 acres, and my dad was never active. He just got his license because it was something he wanted to do when he was a kid. And I got my license, and I said, hey, Dad, that's crazy about. Can I put up a 160-meter loop up about 80 feet and run verticals and this and that? And he just said, I don't care as long as the grass is mowed.
Yeah, I was okay to do. He let me do anything I wanted with antennas within reason, but there was no drilling holes in the side of the house. W2JBL.
My old man worked for the phone company, and later on I did too. And when it came to drilling holes in the house, it was I got an education on how to do it and how to put the feed-through insulators and everything else. Of course, he had a collection of the old ceramic ones for the old C-wire, and those were freaking great. AB3AL.
Man, this is how I did it. For years, I had a piece of coax coming out of my window, and my window is in the front of the house. You could see coax coming out of the window, going out, up, and over the roof. And like they were fine with that, but one day I was like, look, like this sucks, it's a crappy setup, you can see the coax, like it just sucks. I'm gonna penetrate the house in a place that you can't see from the street, the backyard, or anywhere, and I'm gonna bring my feed line out there. It's gonna look better. And I gotta make 2 holes in the house to do it, and they're not like unreasonable. They understand that making holes isn't a big deal, you can fix them. I being a tradesman, they were confident that I would fix them, and I really explained that it would look better, and it did. You couldn't see anything after I did that. There was no more coax coming out the window, and it was just, you couldn't see any of the wire antenna like up above the house in the trees unless like you stopped and looked for a minute, and it was all good.
Yeah, the understanding we had at our house was, I don't care what you do, as long as you fix it when you move the hell out, boy.
That was what yeah.
Yeah, no TVI.
That was the other thing. I was like, how sometimes like I come over those speakers or whatever, when I change to this, like that will never happen again, and it didn't.
Well, see, I fixed the TVI problem. We had TVI when I went on the air, and at the time I was working for a Zenith TV repair shop doing their warranty repairs, and they also sold Dish Network, which I later became a dealer for. And Mom and Dad were complaining to TVI. I said, well, I'll fix this, and I just paid for the cable for them with a satellite. 12 gig does not get interfered with by 80 meter AM.
Yeah, my parents, and then later on after my dad passed away, my parents would never pay for cable. Even, in fact, I offered in the last 10, 15 years of my mom's life, I offered to, hey, Mom, I'll get you cable. I'll pay for your cable. Because I had TVI. I maintained a station at my mother's house for many, many years after I moved out. And I used to spend weekends down there. It was a great station. It was a great radio location. And she's bitching about TV. I said, Mom, I'll pay for your cable. No. I'm going to keep the antenna.
Yeah, my dad didn't give a crap. It was my mom who was the one that wanted cable. My mom's a huge sci-fi freak.
Yeah, my parents were not, they weren't real big. They were into reading. It's Depression era people. They weren't even really that much into TV.
Yeah, Yeah, my grandparents, I've got one grandmother on my mom's side still living. She was born in 22. And the grandfather on my dad's side was born in 24. And Grandpa still gets on the tractor and mows 30 acres every week. So I have a feeling I've got a long life ahead of me.
Yep, God bless. My mom was still... She was an avid shortwave listener. She listened to 75 AM a lot. But she passed in 93, and right up to within probably 3 or 4 months of her passing, she was still driving her unmarked Crown Vic cop car around town, terrorizing the Mexicans.
Ay, Dios mío, señor.
It me great.
Hey, Chris, how'd you make out with all your testing?
Oh, God, Steve, Jesus, I tuned you guys in an hour ago, and I just heard you chime in at the point when I had to make a phone call. And I was, because I was about to call on here. Well, the rig works great. The headset, the receive audio was phenomenal. You sounded great. I heard you on sideband before I actually went mobile. I heard you on sideband in the car, and you sounded good on there. From the point that the intersection where you signed off with me, and the next 5 miles into town, on back, the power line noise was pinning the meter on the receiver. It was 30, 40 over. So I would not have heard you, but when I did, I heard you really good. Was that a barefoot FT101?
No. I'm on the FT101 now, but I'm running power.
So I guess you were where I was mobile?
Test 1, 2.
Test 1, 2, hello. Yeah, I was running power when I talked to you.
You were like S9 to 10 over, and my noise level, my ignition noise, the ambient noise level in the car is only about S3. And it just the farther I went, it just kept getting worse and worse. It's, man, it's really bad out there. If you're HF mobile, especially on this band. The only place you can find any relative peace and quiet is like on the highway. Locally, forget it. You can't hear diddly squat anymore.
Well, what are you running parallel to some high voltage lines, or just putting up ambient RF from all kinds of devices?
Well, there's that. There's the solar powered homes, like I mentioned. You know, I drive through the neighborhood here. You pass a solar home. A lot of those are extremely noisy, but it's extremely dry here today. And what I ran into today was power line noise. Just plain old, bad insulators and stuff. When it's damp or it's wet, they get leakage paths and it's quiet, but it's really dry today and, a few days this week. That's when the noise becomes unbearable, and that's, unfortunately, what I have all around where I do my daily driving. It sucks.
Well, that's too bad. That's too bad because, like I said, I think you got some good audio potential. It'll be good for traveling back and forth to the camp, right?
Well, it's nothing I haven't done before. I just, I just keep upgrading. I upgraded to the headset. The best part of the headset was having it right in my ear. The car's noisy. So, yeah, and actually, I did make an antenna change. I had the Hustler antenna mast, which is 4 feet, and I made up my own mast, much heavier duty, 6061 T6 aluminum, and I threaded the...
Checking Georgia.
So that's a full 5 feet, so I added a foot to the base section, put the coil up higher. That should have made a difference. Right. Yeah, I'm having fun with it, and that's what it's all about, is for those long trips.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think you'll have fun with it. I look forward to hearing you when you're in somewhat of a quiet environment. Anyways, I just kind of jumped in there, didn't even announce my call sign. This is WA1STH. I'm not hanging around. I just heard you, and I thought I'd say hello before I shut this off and see how your testing went. So, sorry if I interrupted anything of any importance. WA1STH listening out. 7-3, Chris.
Yeah, you got that thing sounding good. Well, I'm going to yank out of here as well. It's time to go do the other hobby for a while and grab another beer or 3 or 4. So, yeah, I'm glad I caught you. WA1STH, W2JBL. Mobile, anyway. We'll see all you guys later. Perry and Bill, Mike, or Bob in there. Just got down. W2JBL.
Yeah, see you later, Chris. You're doing real well down in Georgia, too. I'm watching a web SDR in, some Dungle, Bumble Town, Georgia. But, you're in there pretty nice.
Oh, good. That means I'm harassing the Gulf Coast mullet net.
Absolutely. That's what we do on Thursdays. We talk to each other here in the Northeast, and we look at web SDRs from Georgia.
No, dude, you made my day with that. So that means, well, it's later now, but, it's that 3885 Tuesday and Thursday problem we have about 7 o'clock. That I really like to be on 3885 at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. And, that's nice. So now the people that say they can't hear us obviously are hearing us. Yeah, you made my day for sure. Well, I can taste that next beer, and I got visions of my friend Gibson, the guitar in my head. I'm going to go investigate that. W2JBL. Good night.
I prefer fairway stuff. 83 AR.
All right. We'll see you later, Chris. Yeah, all of us, for the most part, are right around S9, maybe popping up a little bit over S9 down there at the moment. W2BTK.
Hey, Mike, go listen to Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe?
THARPE. Major influence on Jimmy Page and Peter Green and me and a lot of people. She's got a Gibson SG with 3 pickups. Oh my God, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Absolutely. Check it out.
Is it that black lady from back in the 40s, 50s that there's... I think I've seen her videos.
There you go.
Yeah, she is wild.
That's the real deal. W2JBR. This is the fifth and final sign out.
73 AB3AL. Good evening, all.
What?
I just said hello to everyone.
See ya, Chris. I'm getting out of here, too. I'm gonna go lay down. I'm gonna go back to work tomorrow, so... Played hooky today because of this migraine thing. I gotta go back tomorrow. We'll catch up with you guys later on. PW Fallon is out. W3MMR.
Yeah, we'll see you later, Perry. You're doing well out here. I'm impressed that you stuck with it at the 20-watt level and never turned the amp on. I'm not... No, don't go back there. No.
The cat's gonna be lit. Bye-bye. Some of the Christmas vacation. I'll catch up with you guys later. Snack time and then bedtime.
73, mud butt.
Yeah, later, mud. Absolute. See ya, bye-bye. Hold on, I got for the road. Let me find it. Let's see here. Where we at? Whoa. All right, here we go. Let's play this.
Another black eye for AM.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
10-4, good buddy. 73 there, mud duck. Man.
Leadfoot Radio.
Kicking the slot buckets to the curb since 1973, sonny.
Hey, real quick before I go. Bruce Long and Dude Wiz on my chat. Bruce says I'm blowing up the old Hallicrafters S40 in Central Maryland. And Dude Wiz, that's what radio I'm running. And my call is W3MMR. I guess I did an ID for a while. Holy crap, I feel bad. Sorry. Yeah, my call is W3MMR. Running on 200D. Apache Labs ANAN is the guys in the Midwest side. 200D, and that was from my YouTube chat. So I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna let the stream roll. W3MMR is out.
All right, MMR and this is K1GTX on the Cape. Hopefully you're still hearing me through all this horse shit. You're still 30 over here.
Hey!
And Perry did a good job, and I'm gone.
See ya, you're still banging in here down from the Cape. The big old Cape.
This is Condition B. Silly bear.
All right, buddy, have a good one, man. We'll catch you next time. K1GTX, I'm gone.
Greetings from Radio Moscow.
Got it. Condition A is much louder, greater audio density, but it sounded to me a little bit harsher, if you will, than test condition B.
Fine, or is anybody else still in here?
I'm still hanging out. I was just sliding around, seeing who was on 85. Sounds like some audio testing going on, and yeah, I don't know what's up with all the foul language and music out here. What are we doing? W2BTK.
Yeah, I saw a carrier down around 60, 63, 64. I don't know. My daggone order from Amazon would ever get here, the Bristol wrenches I need to take my Henry apart, I'll fix this hum. I've had the parts sitting in my hand to fix it for 4 days now, but I don't have their damn wrenches, specialty wrenches, to take the amp apart.
Hold on.
I'm holding the left one or the right one?
Both.
Hi, guys.
Hey. Yeah, sorry about that. It's distractions.
Can I let go of them now? It's getting really tight.
Hey, well, I don't know what you're trying to say out there, but it sounds kind of funny.
As we're speaking, I'm working around at the shop. I've actually got a digital cut machine here that I'm pretty hooking up. That could be fun. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm gonna have to make some receiver adjustments. One moment.
About 10 o'clock. When you adjust your receiver, I'm going to adjust my antenna. Hang on. Yeah, that's better. Wow. The whole time I've been on the air, I'm only putting out 100 watts. I guess I don't have the drive up that high.
Yeah. Wow, those guys are really close in here. I guess, we've been on 3873 now for at least I have, for about 3 hours, 27 minutes, and 17 seconds. We're 3873, so they started up their lower sideband QSO on 3870. I guess like if you're just going by what it says on like the general class licensing test, like yeah, you can fire up 3 kCs away, but I mean that's a little close. I don't know. It seems to me that stuff like that is just not that courteous, and I don't know. They probably just don't know how AM works, but they might get the hint. Who knows? I've been running out here since, well, 3.5 hours ago, doing what I'm doing. So yeah. No, I'm not salty. I'm just testing my radio.
I know what you mean there. What you're saying. Yeah, you actually slid down about to 3872 on that last transmission.
Is K1KRN W2BTK. I had to adjust my receiver.
K1KRN, you're sounding fine here, and I am using different software tonight, so if I'm over-modulated or overdriving or anything, y'all let me know.
Sounds good up here in Vermont. Here's Scott, K1KRN, East Central Vermont, Connecticut River Valley. Yeah, you're sounding great.
Yeah, Vermont, Vermont. Yeah, you're about 5 to 10 over. Everything sounds good here in northeastern Maryland, about 35 miles northeast of Baltimore.
Yes. Well, it's, not running anything spectacular here. 718 into an AL811, doing about 110 watts dead carrier. Well, out to a G5RV inverted V sloper. Yeah, it is what it is, because that's all I can do. But, you're sounding good up this way, that's for sure.
Sounds good here, too.
very loud and clear. Did you do any of Chris's mods on it for the ALC, or just completely stopped?
A couple more direction. I almost never ever hit the bass line. So this was really not to gain any loudness, but strictly as a method of last resort, if you will, for protecting the modulation transformer.
Yeah, fine, Bruce. All right, well, if you...
Equalizer and no compression. That's pretty much about it. Nothing spectacular about it.
Well, so fine. You just might want to level up the lows a little bit and boost up the mids and highs.
For me?
Just a hair.
Okay, is that a little better?
Not a little better. Maybe a little better. You were starting to get that low-end rumble in there. Of course, I may have that too. Like I said, I just loaded up a different version of the Flex software, and I don't necessarily have the EQ set properly.
No, well, I got a slight RF thing going on here where I have to, well, this microphone's got a gooseneck on it, so I wrap the cord around the gooseneck and it gets rid of the RF so I don't get any squeals. And I've also got a couple of chokes on it, turret chokes, and when I set the microphone, I got a little shelf on the desk here. But when I slide it back next to the radio and go back, sometimes they move the settings, so that should be a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not hearing...
You guys sound great here.
Closely out of each other, but sometimes it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, sorry, I just flex crapped out.
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting some jitters in your audio or something.
That I did notice is every once in a while we get standby one. Geez, I'm getting that noise. That's weird. Some sort of overshoot here. It must be a function of the sync detector. Detector itself overshooting. Huh. That's interesting. Anyway, it does a real good job on SSB. I don't know if you've ever played with them. It's the first time I've played with it. That's why I'm talking about it. And plays nice as an AM detector. Plays real good as a sideband detector. And says high fidelity on the front. So I might keep it around as a sideband adapter for the 390 or sim or anything with a 455. And so it seems interesting, but
What, Bear?
Nothing. I got a little bit of QRM in the shack, so I unkey when that happens. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, the one thing it does do in sync mode that it doesn't seem to do otherwise, I can't do otherwise, is that there's a little bit of repetitive pulse noise on the frequency, then the sync detector seems to mute that some, I presume, because it inserts its own carrier without the pulse noise, but that's all I can say. Have you ever worked with the Sherwood engineering unit, Bruce?
WB2GCR, this is W2XR. Your signal's taking a trip through one right now. I've had mine for a number of years. I love it. I think it works great on AM, works great on single sideband like you mentioned. I use it with both the R390 and the R390A. I've got a coaxial RF switch, so I can connect the 455 kilohertz IF from either of the two receivers into the SE3. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. I mean, just about everybody's doing everything with sync detection with SDRs now, and of course you and I are using a hardware approach, but I think it's great. I wouldn't be quick to pass on that. If this is something you're borrowing in terms of deciding if you'd like to hold on to it, I would keep it.
Yeah, W2XR, WB2GCR. Well, I have it. It's mine as of right now. But I'm asking, what have you noticed in terms of its working as... That little point right here is really annoying me. Okay, I'll turn this gain down a little bit. It must be an overshoot. That's what it must be. That I don't get out of the native 398. Well, okay, but I'm wondering what you see.
Alright, not tripping it now. AB3AL. Forgot to hook the ground back up to the amps.
And let me give you, I guess, 3 different scenarios here as to how I've used my R390s over the years. The first was, of course, taking the audio right off the audio output transformer, which is, you don't even want to go there. The second was to use the diode load in either receiver right into an external preamplifier, and that was a several orders of magnitude improvement compared, of course, to the internal stock audio within the receiver. And I used that approach for many years. And then I got the SE3, and I found that the received distortion caused by the diode load in the receiver, a lot of that completely went away. And I think that the SE3, for lack of a better term, really imparts essentially transparent detection. It uses a very linear detection scheme, and of course, by virtue of the insertion of the carrier in the sync mode, again, the selective fading is largely gone. So that's the third scenario, and I have no intent of ever, going back to using the receiver as a diode load. Even if you used it as a diode load, of course.
Hey, I'm gonna go heat up some dinner. I'll be right back, guys. Enjoy the QSO. I'll be right back.
And with the sync detector, that's a thing of the past. But real quick, to answer your question about the 3 diode load, no, I never wanted to go with that approach because that's in my opinion, a dirty way to gain loudness. I think it puts a strain on the modulator, and although it really should protect against a modulation transformer failure, once you start triggering that 3 diode limiter, the IMD goes up substantially. And incidentally, this was verified through testing that Tom, K1JJ, has done. And what I like about the GFZ circuit, and why I finally decided to put the thing in, is it's completely out of the circuit until you hit the baseline. So it's not going to have any impact in terms of any increase in IMD, even if you do hit the baseline. If you hit the baseline, all you're really doing is just the audio from the modulator is going into a resistive load, and it shouldn't have any impact on transmitted IMD whatsoever. So anyway, I set it. I'll send you an email of the unit as built, some photographs, and I'll send you the schematic diagram as well.
Yeah, okay, fine. How often do you have to push the lock button?
If the station is, let's assume within, I don't know, this is just a random guess, maybe 150 hertz of my receiver frequency, it'll lock up very quickly. But if there's several kilohertz away, you've got to do it manually. But there were several different versions, and I have the latest version. The latest version, I believe, had the switch, the little toggle switch along the bottom row of toggle switches. It says AR in the right-hand position, and in that position, the sync detector will kind of wander until it finds the carrier and locks onto it. I don't know if the earlier units had that.
No, mine doesn't. I sent Rob a an email on that. He hasn't replied to that request. He gave me some other information. Now, do you have that in yours, and do you keep it in that mode regularly, or only on occasion, or never? And do you have any other technical information, schematics, or anything like that?
I always keep it in that mode. In fact, it's funny. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was cleaning here in the shack or something. This was just a couple of months ago. And I'm noticing the thing isn't locking up. What's going on? And it's the kind of equipment that I really never have to touch. So long story short, I noticed that AR switch was in the left-hand position, which essentially defeats it. Flipped it back to the normal position where it is right now, again with the AR enabled, and she works great. I don't have any schematic for the unit. I don't know if Sherwood considers that to be proprietary information. As far as using the unit, I don't use the internal audio amplifier. I take the detected audio out and I run it into a Dynaco PAT4 preamp, which for ham radio purposes, believe me, is just fine. And then I use that to drive my Altec 1568A, which is triode connected EL34s, to a Altec 604C in a 612 cabinet. And that's what I use for listening off air.
Yeah, where are you getting the modulated out? Is that the aux out, or are you pulling it off someplace else?
Again, I don't remember, but there's a, if I remember correctly, there's a RCA phono jack in the back of the unit, which I believe is the detected and buffered audio, low impedance source, I'm sure, and then I drive the input to the Dynaco in the, one of the auxiliary inputs.
Yeah, W2XR, WB2GCR. Oh, very good. Well, I asked him for the info on how to put that AR switch in. I might bug you and ask you to take a good picture of where that switch is and what the components are that are in there, because I might be able to make a determination as to what he did. I see a spot on the board where a switch would go if it was in that hole, and there's some unpopulated holes, so maybe with a couple of good pictures I can figure out what he did and put it in, and right to that. That would, that would increase the utility of the unit greatly, because I was listening to a roundtable with it, and oh man, you got to reach up and hit that switch a lot, and the unit here, I don't know what it's missing the top and bottom covers, and there were wires coming out of the that switch and wires coming out of the two test points, and what I think someone was doing is remoting that lock position so they could push a button at their operating position and not have to reach up to it for convenience, and maybe creating an LED indication that it was in lock mode or something, because there's two test points on the board and there were wires coming off them. So I don't know exactly what that was, but clearly the two wires off the switch were to remote the function of the lock. Now the up-down buttons, have you used those at all?
Are you talking about the offset/lock switch?
No, the one to the right of it with the arrow up and the arrow down.
Never had to touch it. In fact, the only time I've ever had to use the offset/lock switch is, again, if somebody is really off frequency, like 4 or 5 kilohertz, I just toggle the switch down to the lock position, and the detector it locks up immediately. But that's only an issue where you have a guy who's running like a Valiant or a Ranger with a VFO that's either drifting or he hasn't properly zero-beated the transmitter to the receiver. You know, a lot of guys are running a PLL as the primary source of frequency, and once you dial in the frequency you want and everybody's on the same frequency, there's never any need to touch the sync detector.
Yeah, this Valiant, I haven't fixed it yet. I just got the tubes for it. The tube, I bought two of them. I bought some more stack Tektronix 6AU 6As to put in the VFO here because I don't want to change them ever again. I don't want to put a used tube in. I didn't run across a fresh one in my wandering through my stuff. I bought a couple off eBay. I've never had to replace a tube in a piece of Tektronix tube gear. And I ran a lot of it for a while, so I presume these will last. They're selected GEs. It's a matched pair, not that you need a matched pair. But it is a matched pair, so when I open up the hatch on the Valiant VFO here, I'll put that in and double check the Chernobyl resistor. But this Valiant drifts. It drifts very nicely. Just takes off. So, if I was running a Sherwood sync detector, it would drive me crazy.
Yeah, you've got to make that modification for the the AR feature. It really separates the final generation of the SE3 from the previous ones. Like I say, it's something that I never have to touch. The only time I'll ever have to touch the sync detector bear is, again, somebody will join a QSO, and if they're really off frequency, just have to toggle the switch down. And if I have to do that more than maybe 3 or 4 times, I'll just ask that particular station who's off frequency, can you please zero beat my carrier? And then once that's done, everything is fine. But I have a question for you. Did you ever do anything with that, what brand was that? Singer? I can't even remember. That spectrum analyzer that you had gotten from me a number of years ago?
I got an SP3 from you, is that correct?
I don't even remember the model number. All I remember was a beautifully manufactured piece of vintage vacuum tube equipment, and it was in nice condition, a little dusty, but I think it was a Singer unit as far as I can remember.
Yeah, I got most of the way into it. I have 2 of them. I think I mentioned that. Yours was the second. Got one up in the rack. It works pretty good. I don't remember which one it was. What typically happens, among other things, to those units, is that those attenuator switches that go in series with the input, they can't take any power, and typically for reasons, they're rated at milliwatts. They're super low capacitance switches. They're made, I had to open one up to fix one. They're also found in those switchable attenuators that you buy at Hamfest, if you can still find them. They have the BNCs on each end and a bunch of toggle switches. But those have super low capacitance switches where the body of the switch is made out of Teflon. And the way the switch works is unlike a regular snap switch. The baton, the back handle, pushes a little round barrel down to one end of the switch, where the edges of the barrel, which look a little bit like the wheels on a train, except they don't have the edge to stay on the track. They're raised a little bit off the barrel. Two contacts, one on each side, left and right, of the side of the body of the switch, not the bottom like a regular switch or the backside, but the side. And the way this switch works is that barrel rolls back and forth. And that's the way it works. Well, you can see right there. You can see right there that the contact surface is equal to the, that's not a tangent, is it? A point on the outside of the circumference of the wheel that is the outer edge of the barrel, and it sits flat on the contact. So any sort of power going in there arcs the contact, and the contact is gold plated, and it ain't a lot of gold. It probably would have worked out better if they made the whole thing out of silver alloy, but they made it out of something gold plated, and once it arcs, that switch ain't worth diddly. And that's the problem with the row that was in the one that's working right now, I think. And either that or was in the problem in the one I got from you, that it wouldn't pass any signal. And if I remember right, I had figured out how to disassemble the switch and make a repair. Put it that way. A repair was made that was in the range of satisfactory. And I believe the switch was put back together, the rivet had to be removed, a number 2 or number 3 screw had to be put in its place, blah, blah, blah. Wow, that was a lot of stuff to fix a switch, but you can't buy those switches. They're not made. You can't buy that switch. And I'll tell you what else. A lot of those attenuators that you buy at the Hamfest, when you open up the back end, you see that a couple of those switches, usually the first or second switch off the input side, has been replaced with a regular standard toggle switch, and that will not work out to the bandwidth that the unit was designed for because of the capacitance of those regular toggle switches. So anyway, that's the story on that. It's sitting on the shelf downstairs, and I've got one running up in the lab. So that's the story as of now.
Good evening.
There he is.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I guess I have it. Okay, very good. I have the braking station. You're acknowledged. WB2GCR and the braking station. This is W2XR Long Island. Very interesting. I had no idea about that. I never fired that thing up at all. You may recall the history of it. I had gotten that from a local ham who I had known for many, many years, who had passed on, and his son had this equipment, and they were selling all this stuff off, and I thought it would have been a really nice addition to my R390 or R390A. As I remember, the front panel on that spectrum analyzer was even the same color, and it was in nice enough condition that I could have dialed the thing up and put it here in the shack, but I just didn't have the room. It's just too large, and I almost got to the point where I was going to start parting out the power supply. Never did anything else with it, and it just sat in my garage, and you happen to be the lucky beneficiary of that piece of equipment. But I did not know that about the switches. And was the issue with the capacitance of the switch to ground or the series capacitance, or probably a combination of both? Probably more so the capacitance to ground, because that would have clearly have limited the usable bandwidth like you had mentioned. But at any rate, let me turn it over to the breaker. This is W2XR, Long Island, New York.
Oh, and good evening, N1BCG.
Yeah, hi, Clark.
Well, hello.
Indeed.
And good evening, Clark.
That's quite a message. Yeah, all right, let me wrap this technical discussion up with Bruce. and say, I may go down there and look at it again to remember what was left over. But the biggest problem with these is the short cable that came with them that goes between the power supply and the unit. You know, they really should have had like a 6-foot cable so you could plant that stupid power supply at some distance. It's a big problem. Over.
Yeah, I think the interconnecting harness was a pair of MS connectors at each end, and certainly multiple interfaces within each connector. But it was a beautifully made piece. God only knows what that thing must have cost brand new. And I'm going to guess it was vintage, maybe 1962, 63, thereabouts. And good evening to you there, Clark. Boy, you guys are both pounding into Long Island tonight. Very strong signals.
Yeah, we're talking about a Singer, not a Singer, this is a Panoramic Radio Products SP3A Spectrum Analyzer. Well, the trick with it, if you were going to run it, Bruce, which I need to get into, is that the IF out on the 390A is not sufficient because it's only going to be as wide as the widest filter that you're running that day. There's a place before it gets to the IF that you need a little buffer amplifier, and you can come off there if you manufacture yourself a T connector and run that into a little buff amp and put another jack on the back panel, and you can come out with about 50 kilohertz before you get to the IF section, which is really peachy keen for it. So I've got all the info on how to do that. I know what to do. It's just another project on the list. Over to N1BCG in the quarantined province of, what is it, Connecticut.
Yeah, I went out grocery shopping tonight. It's amazing. It's like everybody's wearing face masks. I brought paper bags because, you know, they discontinued the plastic bags due to, you know, the environmental concerns, so it's been only paper bags for the past year or more. So brought back my usual paper bags for recycling, and they looked at me like I was the virus. It's like, well, what's wrong? And they said, we can't touch these paper bags. And I said, why not? They've been here and home and here and home and here and home like a million times. I'm recycling. They said, we only do plastic bags now. Oh, we've gone back to that. It's sort of like eggs are good for you, then they're bad for you, then they're good for you, then they're bad for you. So now all of a sudden plastic's good, right? And they said, well, no, we're not allowed to touch plastic, or we're not allowed to touch paper bags. Okay, fine. So I packed my own bags. But man, what a surreal world it was grocery shopping tonight. It's just getting weirder and weirder. Oh, one guy came up to me in the aisle wearing of course, he looked like Butch Cassidy. He said, you know, you're supposed to be wearing a mask. I said, what kind of mask do you have on? And he said, well, I made this at home. I said, you know, back in February, there was a huge media campaign explaining how masks only prevent germs from being spread, not from you getting anything. It doesn't do anything. And also back in February, they were saying that it is actually dangerous for you to be wearing those masks because they don't do anything. If you look at the micron filtering ability of your average, you know, cotton scarf or whatever the hell you're making that out of, a sock, or maybe your old boxers or whatever, the COVID virus goes right through it. So you're basically accomplishing nothing. Looks cute wearing those underwear across your face, but it actually doesn't do anything. God, that pissed the guy off. N1 BCG.
Well, great job. Well,
yeah, do I have it?
Governor here, Cuomo, has decreed that as of tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and I don't know if it's in the morning or at night, anybody out in the public space, out in public, I don't know what the word is, they turn it on the radio, out in public is required to wear a face mask. Now, I can understand it like, okay, within 10 yards of the entrance to a store. I can understand it inside a store. I can't understand it walking around the block when there's nobody on the street. I can't understand it.
It's called covering your bases.
This little thing called the Bill of Rights.
Well, that's suspended due to the emergency, state of emergency.
No, that only happens if the president declares martial law.
Well, that's not what the governor thinks.
Well, he can think whatever he wants, shit in one hand, want in the other.
Well, when a cop walks up to you and offers you a summons to appear, and you walk away from him, and he keeps walking towards you, and you keep walking away from him, he's gonna arrest you for attempting to evade a peace officer. So there's a bit of a dichotomy here.
Well, let him give me a summons to appear, and I'll, because the circuit courts have no jurisdiction over it, it'll have to get a federal court, and they'll have to explain why they don't think the Bill of Rights applies.
I'm sorry, what's your call?
AB3AL.
Oh, okay, fine. Just no, it's okay. Well, it's going to cost you a boatload of money to prove that you're innocent. So, in any event, Clark, you're absolutely right. But the thing that a mask does do is it will retard the expulsion of droplets. It will also retard the inhalation of droplets. Retard it. Now, what's funny to me, W2BTK, is, well, I don't know if it's funny, but I watch TV once in a while. I try to avoid the news, but I watch TV once in a while, and I always enjoy seeing them interview a health professional with a mask on. And as many of you probably on the frequency know, if you have these standard masks with the little metal thing on the bridge of the nose, you're supposed to pinch it so that it clips your nose. And I'm standing there watching the TV, sitting there, and I'm looking at this health professional pontificating about this or that. And the stupid mask is riding a good half-inch on either side of the person's nose. And I'm thinking, huh? What the?
Look, I get the, something is better than nothing, but I've heard, being in the media, being in the real media, not that we're trying to pitch some, line to you, but in the neutral media, I have heard so many health professionals go into such excruciating detail about, how masks works, the whole concept of microns, what they keep out, what they don't. If you're sanding down your floor, your hardwood floors, you can put on a cotton mask and that'll keep it out. If you're sanding the toxic blue paint off the bottom of your boat in the spring to repaint it, a cotton mask will keep those particles from being inhaled. But when it comes to something like the COVID virus, those things are so small that if you were to magnify those so that you could see them, the mask, the fibers in cotton would look like the suspension rods on a bridge, and that really doesn't do anything. Now, again, rewind the clock to February when they were going crazy, when there was a mask shortage. And they were saying, people, do not go out and buy masks. They do not prevent you from catching the COVID virus. We need those for medical professionals. So pause that thought. So part one could be, all right, they're saying that because it does work, but they don't want the general public hogging them because they really need to go to the medical professionals. I get that. But part two was then the CDC was getting on, doing a big campaign saying, well, no, the reason why we're saying that is because you don't have the right masks, and we don't want you to have a false sense of security. So the medical world would have the N95 masks, and the rest of the planet would be having these masks that would prevent you from, sneezing or coughing. But this is only for people who are infected with COVID-19. Now you've got that dingbat governor of your state, New York, saying, quote, you can make any kind of mask you want, even if they're, what did he say? Attractive bandanas. Yes. Mario Cuomo Jr. said you can even use, quote, I quote, an attractive bandana. This is a medical professional, I guess. The point I'm trying to make is you have a lot of people who are out there manufacturing stuff out of old socks, Hanes underwear. Some woman got out of her car and before she walked into the supermarket tonight, rolled up the collar on her ski coat, and that was her mask. I mean, that's like, where do you draw the line here? I think we're approaching insanity. But that's just my take on it. I think we really need to have real medical professionals outline what's realistic and what's a lot of nonsense. Because tonight, I saw a lot of nonsense out there. And one BCG.
So my governor just mandated that we wear masks to go to the grocery store. So I went into my wife's sock drawer and pulled out a pair of thigh highs. And I'm pulling a stocking over my face. That should see the looks I get when I walk into the bank.
I've been using one of my wife's old bras.
Walk into the bank.
That works pretty good. And plus you got two of them, WL7B.
Yeah, can I make a transmission? This is W2XR. Okay, N1BCG in the group from W2XR. Everything you said, Clark, I believe is largely correct, but there is one variable. I mean, first of all, I think we would all agree that, the gold standard for using a mask to protect against the inhalation and the exhalation of the COVID-19 virus is the N95. I think everybody would pretty much agree with that. Either that or, of course, something better. What's better? I've seen these... looks like a pressurized oxygen arrangement with a face mask and a little battery-powered, I guess it's a compressor or a fan or a blower mounted on the person's waist. I guess that's even better. But at any rate, one thing that I did hear about the COVID-19 virus is that you're correct. You're dealing with a virus that's, the cross-section's on the order of a micron, but the virus tends to clump. You're not necessarily breathing in or exhaling individual COVID-19 viri, if there is such a word, but rather relatively large clumps. And I think the logic here is that anything perhaps less effective than an N95 may offer at least better chance of the virus being intercepted before it's either being exhaled or inhaled than using nothing at all. And I did not know that Governor Cuomo had imposed that new restriction about going out in public today with a mask. That's news to me. My wife and I went grocery shopping last night. And similar situation, Clark. The store is empty. And we try to go about 6:15, 6 o'clock thereabouts, in anticipation of the store closing at 7, because management had told us that that's typically the time when there's the least number of customers in the store. And the shelves are well stocked. There are still no paper products on the shelves. But generally speaking, most of the customers are practicing good faith in terms of maintaining good social distancing. And the management of the store is very carefully regulating who goes to which checkout aisle. And it seems to be working. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents. the station AB3AL, you may have some kind of an audio issue in there. I don't know what kind of a transmitter you're running, but maybe it's being overdriven or something. But just wanted to bring that to your attention as a friendly note. This is W2XR. We're in Long Island. Name here is Bruce. And after that, I don't know, did anybody hear what I just said? Modulation monitor said I'm putting out a signal.
Yeah, I heard what you said. I think what's necessary at this point is for a clarification on that. Because, I mean, what you said makes a lot of sense. Also, given, though, that it only takes very little of that. But you're right. I mean, something is better than nothing. But you know what? Someone needs to speak up about this, because right now there's so much conflicting information out there as far as whether or not there's a mask, what kind of a mask is effective. I mean, there was a point in time 3 weeks ago, really just about 3 weeks ago, where they were talking about, yeah, unless you've got the right material, don't even bother because it's not going to do anything. So the fact that there's, like, the message is evolving, and I don't think it's improving, I think it's just evolving, that there needs to be a clarification, because I think that people like me are getting kind of disenfranchised with the conflicting information, because February is going completely against what they're saying now, and you know, the argument could be, well, but we know so much more about it now. Good. But let's hear people, not, you know, me, not talk show hosts, not fake news announcers. Yay. Let's hear right from medical professionals. I don't mean governors. Governors can go sit down. But I mean real medical professionals who are experts at this explain the latest as far as what really does work. And then that's going to get people on board, because otherwise you've just got, you know, 2.5 months of conflicting information, and it just, again, for people like me, it makes us kind of like, well, you guys don't really know what you're talking about.
Well, what's really going on is it's a coup between the deep state and the lizard people to see how much of our civil liberties we can tolerate being taken away from us.
I kind of agree.
Note, I'm going to say 73.
I am too. Have a great evening, everybody, and one BCG.
Well, wait a second. The lizard people are real.
Yeah, but I have a phone call. Catch you later. 7-3.
Take care, Clark. Oh, boy. Take care, Clark. Maybe we'll continue later. I would have really thoroughly enjoyed continuing the conversation, but I do not believe in speaking about politics here on amateur radio. This is W2XR.
Hey, good night. Hello and goodbye to Bruce K1JJ.
Hola, Tomas. How are you? Sounding good. How does my negative carrier loading sound, my friend? K1JJ and the group from W2XR. We also have, or we had in here, Bear, WB2GCR.
Hey, Bear. Yeah, I've been listening for, maybe 10 minutes or so. And so you got the thing working, the NPL. How about that? Well, I got to hear more about that. Hey, I just broke in because I heard you guys mention about the size of the coronavirus and the mask, and I got this off the web. There was an article written in the medical magazine recently, and the coronavirus in microns, the average is between 0.06 and 0.14 microns. Remember that number, 0.06 to 0.14. An N95 mask, the smallest size it will handle is 0.3 or larger. So you can almost say an individual coronavirus is half the size. It's just too small by 1/2 size, you know what I mean? 0.14 versus 0.3. So I thought that was interesting. I've never thought of that. I never even figured to look it up until I heard you guys mention that. So that's the scene. And hey, congrats on getting your NPL working.
My
Oh, don't call it an NPL. Call it an NCL.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We're playing around with both of them. Yep. Negative cycle loading versus negative peak limiting. Say that 10 times and you won't forget.
Now, all kidding aside, it seems to be working just fine. In fact, after dinner tonight, I decided to fire up the rig and see if this thing does what it's supposed to do. I installed it yesterday afternoon, finished up the installation late last night. I cleaned up a little bit of the wiring as far as the Packard 440 high voltage cabling, where I broke the interconnection between the high side of the modulation transformer and the modulated B plus into the final amplifier deck, and connected my CD player to my transmitter and into a dummy load, of course. Didn't want to have my wife take a look in the back to see if this little LED is flashing on and off. And I first listened to the audio with the rig set up completely normally, just the way it is right now, you know, rarely hitting close to the baseline. And I didn't hear any degradation whatsoever in the quality of the audio off the CD player through the off-air monitor. And then I decided, well, let's go for broke here and let's hit the baseline. And sure enough, take a look at the little LED back there, and she's flashing away. The only thing I'd like to change, Tom, is I think in the email that I sent to you and Frank and John yesterday, I used a 2-volt LED, and I used a string of 4 silicon rectifiers to get what I thought would be sufficient ignition voltage to the LED, you know, by assuming a 0.6 volt voltage drop per rectifier times 4 would be, you know, for all intents and purposes, about 2.5 volts. But the LED that I used, it's not that bright, but I'd like to get an LED with greater luminosity. Maybe I will do what Frank did. Maybe I'll stick a Zener in there. I've got a ton of these HP 5-volt high luminosity LEDs with a built-in current limit resistor. But, you know, now that I know it's working and what can really go wrong with the circuit, I may just leave well enough alone. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that to you. That's interesting about the cross-section of the virus. When you're dealing in cross-sections of that small an area, you're probably talking rather on the order of angstroms. And I did not know that the particle entry size, for lack of a better term, of an N95 mask is, I think you said it was 0.3 microns. I think that's what you said. So you're right. A single coronavirus particle could penetrate through that filtering element in an N95. But I don't know if you caught what I said earlier, in the sense that from what I've read, the COVID-19 virus tends to travel in literally clusters. And if you had more than 2 of the individual particles clustered together, I would assume that it probably would not pass through the N95 mask. That's just my guess. But, you know, I guess there's always the real possibility that a single particle could be airborne, and it could pass through the filter element in the mask. Now, in my judgment, and I won't hold it too much longer, I think what the country really needs are 2 things. Number one, I'd love to have, and I'd love for my wife to have, a supply of N95 masks. That would make us both feel a heck of a lot better. That's number one. And number 2, and obviously everybody's pushing for this, is there has to be, you know, by definition, widespread testing and certification that you are either immune by virtue of antibody testing, you don't have the virus, or you do have the virus. And if you don't have it, or if you have been verified as perhaps having it by virtue of having developed antibodies on the basis of exposure, then you get, some type of a proof, like a driver's license almost, that you're clear for takeoff. But that seems to be what's really being bandied about right now in terms of reopening the country. K1JJ in the group, this is W2XR.
Yeah, QPC. Go ahead. This is Tom in Connecticut, K1JJ.
3AL.
Yeah, I'm just running 150 watts tonight. Might be getting locked down. I heard NPC break in. Why don't you pick it up? And I think I also heard Daryl. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got a question for you. I've been wearing some N99 masks that I had. Now, supposedly the N99 is supposed to be a little bit better. I don't know exactly why. I had picked up a 10-pack from I paid for the nose for them. I paid $80 for them, but I was happy to have them in the Detroit area here because just to go to the store, it's just you're taking your life in your hands. Any thoughts on an N99? Do you know what the difference is?
It'd probably be just as easy as looking on Google. That's how I did it. I just searched size of the N95, and it was written right in there in Google. And then the coronavirus itself. So I bet by the time I finish talking here, you could even look it up and know. And it's probably, that's exactly what I was going to suggest is a screen that is less than 0.3, which is the N95. Or come up with a fabricated screen. What if you had 10 layers as an example of a very fine, the resultant random cross-section, pattern would be much less than 0.3. You probably could simulate something very, very tiny, like 0.06, the smallest of the coronavirus. So, and it's a lot to do with the randomness too. I mean, what happens if you just rub something on your hand?
All right. I think the covered face mask's enough for me. I think I'm gonna end this stream in a couple minutes here. So, if you're watching, thanks for watching. I'll leave it rolling for a little bit, but I'm not gonna be in the shack much longer. So, if you like what you see, give me a follow. You get like notifications when I go live, and I'll be streaming ham radio stuff. So we'll see you later.
Why not? I went down the store yesterday, and it was almost like everybody's walking around like the night of the living dead. It's almost like wearing the 3D glasses of the past. Do you remember the 50s? You look at a photo, and everybody's got the 3D glasses on, the whole crowd. And I'm walking around the grocery store, and everybody's got these masks on.
See you later, Connor.
I feel so alone, but it did feel very, very strange, doing that. And I noticed a lot of the grocery workers themselves did not wear masks. All the customers did, but the people working there, I'd say half of them didn't have masks on. So I didn't understand what that was about. But there was guys going up and down the aisles cleaning and, disinfecting. Good on your NCL there. That's real good. Glad you got it working and flashing. Yeah, make that LED as big as you can. Why not have a big light? Make the Zener 10 volts. Make it a real flashing bastard, just like a what were those things? I can't think of the name of the modulator monitors of yesteryear. The big bulbs, so you kind of knew. So let me see if Daryl or somebody else broke in, and then flip it back over to you, Bruce. This is K1JJ.
WB2GCR has returned.
Hey, Bear, why don't you pick it up?
Tom Gates, RCA. Do you like my squeak when I key up?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you need a big, it's a feature. It goes point. Are you guys hearing that when I key up?
I thought I heard a sound, yeah.
That sound?
Yep.
Yeah. That's bloody annoying as all get out. Yeah. I think it's an overload in this SE3. Oh well, what am I going to do? I don't mute it. There you go. I'll have to work on that. Maybe get a little more isolation. Yeah, well, I don't think you can use multiple layers to accomplish a mask effect. Because you can it'll slow down the velocity. That's the other problem. These things have to breathe. You have to have enough openness to allow a person to exhale. Otherwise, everything starts getting real hot under that mask. And that's the problem with these masks. I've got a couple of, respirator-type masks from Harbor Freight, and they're ideal. I think they're probably capable of filtering out the COVID. It's a particulate mask followed by a carbon. Not carbon, they call it carbon. It's charcoal, activated charcoal filter and some other stuff. That might be enough, but it's not a replaceable filter on the Harbor Freight. So they used to sell an AO, which had a replaceable filter. Now, in theory, you could take the replaceable filters, chuck them in the oven at 235 degrees or something, and kill everything in it and bring it right back out and use it. But I'm afraid the Harbor Freights that they're selling now, made in China, are not. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, boy. Quite a scene. Yep. Avoid. What was that movie? Roddy Piper was in Them. I think that was the movie, yeah.
Yeah, I have a cousin who does
Yeah, it's 90. The N99 is also 0.3 microns, by the way. Just a different filter, different paper, I guess it says.
I have a cousin that does medical research. He's a doctor. And I was speaking to him the other day, and he was telling me that all these orders to wear masks, whether it's N95 or whatever, are pretty much a farce. The average flu, the normal influenza, can be transmitted through the ocular cavity. So basically, whether you're wearing a mask or not, if your eyes are not covered and somebody breathes on you and is infected, and the vapors from their breath reaches your eyes, you can still just as easily get it as if you breathe it in. There's absolutely no difference. So the whole mask order is a farce.
Well, the mask will keep someone who's breathing.
All right, we're back on the masks. I'm gonna look for something to host here. Maybe I can find something interesting in the science and technology.
Transmitted through parts. So, and that's been proven. So, I guess we gotta get N95 underwear too.
Jeez, that's really bloody annoying. Holy crap. Gotta do something about that. I don't know how to overcome that. Anyway, I'll just need a bypass switch on this puppy. Anyway, yeah, WBTGCR. Yeah, you don't have that type of underwear? It's the only type I buy. Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the mask is just to prevent aerosol spray. And that's all it's going to do, is keep everybody from spraying more aerosol than normal. It's just going to reduce the aerosol spray, which will reduce the transmission. I am going out, I'm announcing here for the first time, I hope the news media picks up on this, as they should. I am wearing my flame and embossed welding helmet with a mask under it when I go out next time. That's it.
Will you be able to see through the smoke glass?
No, it's electronic. It flashes down instantly.
How about just a clear
Or you could use your Diver Dan outfit as well, you know, a helmet diving outfit.
I don't have one of those, but you know the face mask for a snorkel, that has some merit, you know, or diving face mask. That has some merit.
Oh yeah, with an oxygen tank, why not?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, there's no such thing as 100% protection against this thing. I mean, we just try to take the best mitigation methods that we can and hope for the best. But again, that's very interesting what you said earlier, Bear. I did not know that the governor had mandated the use of face masks beginning at 8 o'clock in public places.
Some sort of
just a sign of the times. I just have to change the subject for 1 second. And Tom, I just wanted to ask you very quickly. Frank, of course, had mentioned that the NCL will not eliminate, of course, the need for spark gaps across the secondary of the modulation transformer. Now, I've always had them between the center tap, each side of the center tap rather, to the corresponding winding on the modulation transformer on the primary side. I've always had them across the modulation reactor, and I've even had them across the swinging choke at the input to the high voltage supply, but I've never had one across the secondary of the modulation transformer. And I think, you know, again, it's been so many years since I put the spark gaps in this rig, but I think my logic for not doing so was, if I remember correctly, it was Don, K4KYV,